Hello, good day.
Good day. I want to give a special thanks to Mr. Ernest Jeffrey for bringing news to the people on the WhatsApp platforms and a lot of people are not appreciating.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Everyone, welcome to U97.5 douglAR Radio Atlantic Studio, where today's proceedings is presently being conducted. We want to welcome all our viewers, listeners, well-wishers, supporters in various ways. We want to say a pleasant good afternoon to you. Remember, this afternoon at 7:30, the original Senator Arnold Roberts will be handing over right here in studio, and we ask you to stay tuned and prepare for what is to come. Ladies and gentlemen, also today you can call in at 373-5488, 373-5488. That's the number to call. It's on the screen. I want to say welcome to Ernest Jeffrey and also the original Archie in the house. So today, ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's a bit bleaky, it's a little bit rainy, but nevertheless, the show must go on. Remember, when we sit and speak with you, we sit and we bring facts to you. We don't come here with any storybook and tell you about the cow jump over the moon and how much time Mary went and called the cattle home. When we come here, we come and we talk about issues that affects you. We come and we talk about poor governance. We talk about corrupt politicians. We talk about those who keep their hands in the public purse. And we also speak about those who will enslave you while they say to you that you are of our breed. You know, sometime when I jog my memory and I look at the inception of slavery, I look at the way in which it was orchestrated. I watch the way in which the people utilize the people to catch the people and bring the people. And added to that, one color, one race. But yet to the end of the day, every time we reach the point of no return, you know what we do? We go back to the original plan. And what is the original plan, ladies and gentlemen? The original plan is simply to keep you believing that in Trinidad and Tobago, we are two different people. To keep you to believe that in Trinidad and Tobago, right, I think we're up and running here. To keep you and to make you believe that in this country, there is a separation. But who creates that separation, ladies and gentlemen? Who creates that separation? Who will allow the people to infiltrate our minds by pushing that agenda, an agenda that affects you, an agenda that keeps you living in the condition that you are now living in, an agenda that makes you believe that you have something in this country. I can remember that we were taught, Jeffrey, growing up, that we don't have land. Yeah. We don't have businesses. But what we have is political power. And when I examine that which was taught to us, I see slavery. They enslave our mind with a belief or a doctrine that will suggest to us that we have the greatest thing, which is political power. They will tell us that the East Indian in this country, they have the land, they have the businesses, but what we have they can never take from us, which is political power. What political power are you speaking about, mommy and daddy? Mommy and daddy of all. What political power are you speaking of? Because if we have political power, then why are we still in this condition? If we have political power, where is our businesses? Where is our homes? Where is our land? Where is our education? They have fooled us over the years to have us believe that we have something to hold on to. But yet when I turn my hands, my palm upside it down with my fist closed, and I release the ligaments, and stretch my hand open, yet there is nothing that is falling out. They have made us to believe that we have a culture. And as African people in this country, we have a culture. But where is our culture? Is the PNM our culture? They will have us to dress up in dashikis and so on a particular day. And they say to us that we are emancipated. They tell us that we are free. But while we are free, we are still hungry. While we are free, there is no shelter. While we are free, we cannot feed our family. While we are free, ladies and gentlemen, we still live in poverty. But who is responsible? Who is responsible for our condition? Is it Basdeo Pandey? Is it Kamla Prasad Bisesa? Is it Pandey and Bisesa who have us in this condition that today we can no longer sustain ourselves? Was that seed sown within those 10 years? Was that seed sown, ladies and gentlemen, within the tenure of Pandey and Mrs. Bisesa? Was this doctrine introduced into our minds under Basdeo Pandey and Kamla Prasad Bisesa? If you ought to examine our condition, you will realize that this seed that we now bear as a tree it was planted under the colonial masters, while the said strategy was adopted by the PNM. And while that strategy was adopted by the PNM, it causes us as a race, as African people, to reap the benefit of the strategies and policies that were implemented to have us to believe that we are free. When we look into our history, right in this country, we would see a party that you and I and Jeffrey believe was the beginning of our well-being. But today, when you look, ladies and gentlemen, you could understand the destruction, the calamity that we now face, the calamity that we are ashamed to admit. We are so ashamed to admit what the PNM have done to us that we rather live a lie. We rather teach our children to be dishonest by our practice, by our downfall, by our shortcomings. We prefer for our children to live and to go through the same agony, the same pain, the same neglect that we have experienced. We, ladies and gentlemen, we prefer to teach our children the way of destruction, that rather than to teach them the way of life. We have seen a government today, a minister of education, who said to us in this country that our schools are safe. We have seen and heard. This speaks about this great reduction in school violence. We have seen Gaspidoli went to certain schools in South and they believe that by the visit of the minister that all will be well. Jeffrey, they believe because the minister went to some schools that the children have seen a mentor, that the children have seen a future. She did not know that the children, the principals, the teachers, the deans, the staff, what they have seen was an enemy to education. You see, some people believe that plenty makeup and fancy weaves or wigs or hairstyle or braids would fix the problem that we are now experiencing. Some of our ministers believe that conducting themselves in a manner which is not becoming of a politician, that people will have respect for you. Gaspy Dolly, you do not even know that while you were entering some of those schools with all the pretty security and police officers and all the protection that you believe, if you believe in your heart that the schools were safe, then why did you attend with what the children does not have the protection? Yes, you can attend with your protection while you leave our children unprotected, to be slaughtered, to be cut up, blade in school bag. Don't believe that I am commenting on the actual situation because I do not have the facts of the actual situation. But what I can say to you, Gaspidoli, is that pressure does bust pipe. Unfortunately, your Minister of Utilities, Public Utilities, Marvin Idiot, whatever, Gonzal, never knew that when a pipe is leaking, the pressure will fail.
Good afternoon.
Quiet, Saina. Good afternoon.
Greg and Mr. Jeffries. Good afternoon, and all the listeners.
Yes, good afternoon.
Right. I want to talk about that ring we have in Trinidad, and we'll do nothing about it. And I want to compare it with a ring that Epstein had in America. You remember that ring? He had a madam in that ring, right? To have a successful ring and to sustain it, you're bound to have a madam or a maitre d', that is like a boss person pulling the pieces together. Mr. Sabga said that ring existed prior to Pandey administration. So what he was saying, the ring was embedded into the fabric of Trinidad and Tobago society. For that to continue and sustain itself till today, the question will be asked, who is the madam of that ring? You know, 2 months ago, it had a prime minister in we country say, the vaccine gradient, he relies on ladies. And he had a picture on the paper with a set of ladies in high office, FABs, Blissful, all of them. So which one of them? And we had to investigate that and then to crack the ring, you know. Because if we don't crack that ring, crap will smoke the pipe, you know. I go and have a nice night.
Yes, yes, caller. Thank you for your call.
You see, we believe that we can do anything at the head and believe that it would not trickle down and affect the rest of the body. That is what we believe in this country. Welcome, caller.
Yes, good night, gentlemen.
Yes, good
I
night.
just want to touch on what you all was talking about last night with the journalists and reporters. No, I told you last night that it's very dangerous for these people. And today, or I should say this evening, I will open your eyes a little bit to it so you will understand the danger in it.
All right.
Today in the Summit of the Americas, now I want people to listen to it. Let us don't be selfish, right? We just live in a bubble here in Trinidad and we have to open up ourselves. Anyhow, today in the Summit of Americas, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken talked about the pillar democracy, the fourth pillar democracy, which is the journalists, and they're not being able to bring the message to the people here in the region. And the troubles they go through with governments who don't have democracy. Now, as you know, they exclude 3 countries. And he was talking about Honduras, Cuba, and Venezuela. He talking to other people who have ears, who go there, we're living here, about this thing with democracy. That's one of the subjects they're talking about. And what he said, Mr. Robert, is that journalists, they get abused in these countries. They get jailed. They jail them. He stressed on Cuba, where in Cuba, they break into their houses when they talk against the government. And at times they would put them under house arrest for weeks and weeks on end. Okay, I live and see with my 2 eyes in Venezuela. They put journalists in jail. They kidnap them the same way out of their homes, wherever they could get them. Sometimes in the studio, they put them in jail. Some of them commit suicide because of the torture. Okay, and it was really, really bad. Even media houses got burned down. Equipment got damaged out in the opening protest. And what Blinken is saying is that he wants to save the democracy in their backyard, which is where we live, in the Caribbean and South America. So this is where we reach, Mr. Robert. It's dangerous for them. I just still take the chance and say a lot. How much I could bring out, I bring out. Sometimes I talk it behind closed doors because it has so much I could bring out, and I just have to be careful. And right now we're reaching a point where we just have to hush. So just bear with these journalists. That's where we reach.
Thank you, Kola. And let me put this on record. In Trinidad and Tobago, I'm not bearing with no journalists. None. And I will tell you why. While we could look at Honduras and Cuba and Venezuela, where these activities happen, in Trinidad and Tobago, journalists take money to defer from the truth. That is what we do in Trinidad. Journalists in Trinidad and Tobago take money from the politicians in this country to spread their narrative. And that is what is happening in Trinidad. Trinidad journalists, not under any danger, is the love of money that have these media houses behaving how they behave. That is the problem here. And that is the problem with plenty Trinidadian. The love of money, they rather stay quiet, they rather hush them out and see little children get raped and bugger and murder and have nothing to say. They are devils. Real devils. That is what they are. And I make no apology to any one of them media houses. None. Because that is what they do. They friend with the government. They get into relationships with the government simply because of money, the love of it. And they will print and misprint anything that the government want them to print because they could collect the big lump sum for their ads, and when election bell ring, just as what is happening now, every one of them benefit. And you hear them play, we deliver because we care. 10,000 gone. 10,000 gone. We moving with the PNM. 20,000 gone. That is the games that play. So Trinidad and Tobago journalists, fire burn all you. Or they're not going through what they're going through in other countries. Or they're living here nice. Or they're driving all the fancy car. In all the fancy office. And all they're collecting blood money. That is why none of them media houses will publish on a daily basis what is the problem, the position with these pedophiles and them. They will never publish it. You will not see a headline on the front page saying 15 days gone, 40 days gone, 6 months gone since the Judith Jones report and nothing is being done. You will not see that on the front page. You know what you'll see? Stuart Young go on and say things looking up for Trinidad in relation to gas. You will see the Prime Minister in Guyana taking pictures. That is what you go see. You go see they put on the papers, petition against Kamla Prasad Bisesa. That is what you will see. Fuad Khan challenge. That is what you will see. You will never see these wicked newspapers putting up on a daily basis, every day, about the amount of children missing in this country. I didn't plan to go there today, you know. I really didn't plan to go there. You will never see they put up on a daily basis the murder figures on the front page. You will never see they put up that Fitzgerald Hines is incompetent to hold that ministry of national security. You will never see they put on the front page what is the position with the Foster Cummins investigation. You will never see no word yet from the Integrity Commission in relation to Rowley 400,000+ off on a unit in Inez Gate. You will never see they put on the papers how much years gone, yet no word in relation to Camille Robertson Regis 143,800. You will never see they put up that Petrotrin was closed down to protect the financiers of the PNM. You will never see they put up that the Speaker of the House believe that she is a lord unto herself and there is no democracy within the parliament. You will never see they put on the front page that the independent senators in this country is PNM senators. They will never put on the front page that the president misbehaved herself together with Blissy Prasad and the Prime Minister, and as a result of that, we have a PNM appointed commissioner. You will never see these things. Never. You know why? Simply because the love of money is the root of what these newspapers bring to you people. The root of the evil message that they bring to you, and have you to make decisions based on that message that you will never see. And I will never, ever ease up any one of these newspapers and television houses who sell their soul to the government. A matter of fact, who will sell their soul to any government? Any government. Never. You see, in this country, media houses ought to be independent. They ought to be the guardian of democracy, and they must print it as it is. That is what it must be. So we allow these media houses to publish all the hogwash and brainwash the people of this country. And we talking about mercy? No mercy for all you. None whatsoever. None. All of us on the outside here at risk. Everything we do, we at risk. You know why we are at high risk? Because we bring the facts. And we are not journalists. It is about time journalists stand up and earn their money legally, lawfully, by doing the right thing, spiritually. Journalists in this country, there is no moral values, none whatsoever. You see a journalist allegedly sleep with John Jeremy, next couple of days with Stuart Young alleged. You will see that. That is what you get for journalism in this country. That is what you get. So no mercy for them. I remember on a number of occasions, I was told if I mention certain things, they will never publish any story. A matter of fact, a friend of mine had to tell me, Robert, remove your mask. Flip that UNC mask. Because once they see that, they're not going to print the truth. That is how wicked, evil, deceitful, conniving that the journalism in this country, that is where we are. No mercy for them. None. Welcome, caller. Caller, you there? All right, just give me the signal. Caller, call back. When I get hot, I like a old Bedford, you know. When you're here, I get hot. It's trouble to shut me down, you know. These wicked journalists and them in this country, Jeffrey, I understand what's going on in the outside world, you know. Don't feel me, you know what has happened with journalists. But in Trinidad, it's a comfort zone. All them consider in Trinidad is to collect the money. They're not going to say and print anything that will interfere with the dollars. Welcome, caller.
Yes, it's me again.
Go ahead.
When your rail get hot, it's like a race get boy.
Well, you
Watch
know,
now, you preach.
It does happen, it does happen, it does happen.
Yeah, you preach. And just where you preach there, brother, what they're running from, they will get. I will make it short and harsh. That's for crapo.
That's
and
right.
that debt going for you, it going for me. We taking the chances.
Exactly.
Right? And it's debt for all of we right now. Right.
And sister, we not getting paid. You and I not getting paid to come and talk the truth, you know. Them getting paid and still lying.
They're getting paid and they still go dead.
Boy.
Hey, you can't get away from that. That's sure.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you, Archie. That is what these journalists do in this country. I had no problem with, let me tell you something. It come like some of them church leaders. I don't want to go there to today, you know, because the time short. I doesn't want to start this kind of topic, Jeffrey, because the time does run out. But I have no problem if the church supporting PNM, you know. Support PNM. But when they stand up on the pulpit, preach the truth.
Yeah.
You support who you want. But when they stand up on the pulpit, preach the truth. But all there is more politicians than the politicians themselves. Some of them church leaders, wicked like them journalists and them. The church and all is a PNM party group. I ain't asking you, Jeffrey, I'm telling you.
They keep on meeting in church.
But the church, as the election reach, and it's time, you're hearing them talking about, let me pray for the government. Half of them hiding on WhatsApp group. Half of them in PNM party group. Half of them church leaders. Their wife, their mother, their father, their children, staunch PNM. As the election reach, well, boys, pray for we beloved Prime Minister. Boy, if God was like man, all the tongue sticking all them out, stick in the roof. I have no problem with who want to support you, but speak the truth. All you teach us that. All you tell us, speak the truth and speak it ever, no matter what it costs. Jeffrey, they never tell you that when they're small?
In Sunday school.
They're telling you that?
Yeah, they're telling you that in Sunday school.
Speak the truth and speak it ever, no matter what it costs. And as you speak the truth, they say you're gossiping.
Mm-hmm.
As you speak the truth, you're a gossiper.
They when they don't want to hear that kind of talk, they say you're gossiping.
You understand what I'm telling you,
But
brother?
as you agree with them, they say,
Yeah, no gossip.
Yeah.
You can say anything. Once you agree, Jeffrey, they on big P&M chat, texting easy. Jeffrey, I tell you, I was in Labre. A prominent preacher mother. You hear what I'm telling you? When we walk in and we see those individuals, them fellas who walking in front of me running there, I stop in them, I say, all the door go there. That is my people. Because I know it's same church.
They go,
Jeffrey, when I reach there, you know them people tell me, sorry brother, but we don't support that kind. You hear what I'm telling you?
they're going deeper than it.
And Sunday morning,
They're going real deep there.
they're going and hug up the same Indian. How you going, sister? Jeffrey, I ain't come here for nobody to like me, you know. I just tell them I not on no beauty contest, you know. But I will speak the truth, don't matter how it rip them apart. They're not supporting that kind. But Sunday morning, they're hugging up the same Indian. How are you, my sister? I hope God bless you and you're highly flavored. Highly favored.
Games.
But when it's time for election, they're telling their brother who is an African like themselves, they don't support that kind. I say, well, I have to excuse them because my head balls, so they maybe understand I'm African too. And I love coconut oil in my hair, Jeffrey. Sometimes I try and I say, oh, God, anywhere you're going is coconut oil. Welcome, caller.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Victor.
Yes, sir, good night.
Yes, good night.
Yeah, good night. Boy, I listened to so-called Gospel Station this evening. The two young men there, they're asking to the callers to call in and concerning what Mrs. Camilla with the race talk now. And I'm too so shocked when these people say they are Christians and all of them criticize us. I can understand these people so biased, you understand? Not, but then the Bible tells not everybody say, Lord, all shall be saved. You understand me?
Yeah.
Okay? Yes. Just imagine I'm trying to call to tell them how I feel about it. But some fella come and ask them if they're really a Christian station, or Gospel station. Yes. You know, and I had a son sitting out. I didn't know he was listening to the calling in program. And he was asking me that, you could sit down, say you listening to these so-called Christian people. He was real pissed about it. Excuse me, word. You have a good night, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, Archie, thank you. Boy, let me tell you something in this country. Don't get tapped in this country, you know. Don't get tapped with the jacket and tie. When they go in and tell about how they love Jesus, you know. Don't get tied up with that, you know. Don't get tied up with that, people. Don't get tied up with that. And there's so much more that I could say that I choose not to say. You hear what I'm telling you? So don't get tied up with them and that. They will say something here today and do something different tomorrow.
So the sister tell you she don't support that kind.
They don't, the exact words. Sorry, brother, but we do not support that kind.
I find that is an inappropriate statement. She didn't say she don't support the party. You know. She went deeper than that. You know.
And that is what I tell you, brother. Sunday morning, they go in and hug up the same Indian that they don't support. People don't understand when an election call in this country. People don't understand that there are those who move directly to invoke this racial discord amongst us. And they propagate the message from even within the walls of the church. There is some, and well, let me reiterate. Let me reiterate. In this country, an election is what causes enemies.
All right.
Serious, brutal enemies. Simply because the people supports a party, and don't matter what the party do, it's right.
So they're not seeing the wrongs that they're doing.
The eyes are closed to the ills. And then on the flip side to that, you have to make your mind up, Jeffrey, to speak and defend what is right versus that which is evil. And in this case, some of the church leaders know that the PNM is the evil. They know, Jeffrey. But you see, the love of that bitter dollar, the love of that bitter dollar, and the preacher want to drive that Audi, and he want that big mansion, and he want that an account, and he also want some of the sisters in the church. That is so wicked and evil.
Some. Well, better he leave that profession because that thing that he could do.
What's the time there, Jeffrey?
We just 7 o'clock.
All right, we're going for a break. We're handing over to U97. Corky.
Nah, we ain't taking no break now. We taking this kind of thing, you're quick to jump for a break.
No break. No break.
Telling me about
no break. The producer and I said no break now. You see, it's me that want to put in trouble now. It's me that want to put in bacchanal. But I'm telling you, the church leaders, some of them is like the prime minister himself. Now, let me ask a question. What would it take for all of us to stand for what is right? What would it take for all of us to stand for what is right? You see, it is always easier to do the wrong than to do the right. You know why? When Rowley fixed the figures, and he used a methodology to tell them all church would not get the same amount.
All right.
And what he said was, to my effect, is that you cannot be a small church and expect to get the same amount as the big church. You want to get your church full in the morning? Put up a P&M sign on the door. Put up a P&M sign by the door. And you will see how full your building gets. Jeffrey, I know some of their hearts burning them. You know. I'm going to tell you why their heart burning them right now. Deep inside their heart, they know it's the truth are talking. And if they want to prove otherwise, call me on the phone and tell me, Victor, what you're wrong. And I will prove to you how right I am. You see, we are in this position because of the dishonest churches. Let me take back the word churches and use religious body.
Right. It's not the churches. Have
yeah. Let me take back the word churches and use the correct term. The dishonest religious organizations. We are in this problem. We are in this problem because of some of our wicked grandparents and parents. Yeah, they will hate me more. They will hate me more. Well, that is a matter for you, but the truth will still come out of this mouth. We are in this position because of the wicked P&M. You hear the groups of people are called, Jeffrey?
Yes, good afternoon.
Welcome, caller.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good day, sir.
I want to add the situation here where we MPs ask the citizens in the area to boycott the newspaper for 1 day. 1 day. Everybody don't buy. Just 1 day. To send a message, because the only thing left for Trinidad to do is for the ministers and them to start to put up children and eat them. That is where they reach. They don't do more already. You see? It's just the start to in every department in this country now rotten. That is the problem. And you have a media that protects the corruption, stands by the corruption, protect evil. I mean, this is insane what's going on in Trinidad, with this media and all this kind of thing. The media is preparing the mind to accept evil by the nonsense they're printing. Yes? That thing with the church in America, with the torture chamber. And up to today, you don't know what happened to the pastor, you don't know if he functioning, and if church open, if it's church closed. But I think it's functioning still. But no media never cover that again. That church for them saying, hi. Have a blessed evening and a very good show.
Thank you, caller. And caller is sending you up in front of the class because the truth people are scared deal with. And that is what you're going to get on douglAR Politics and douglAR Radio. And the whole douglAR team. You're getting the truth. You could vex with the messenger, we still bringing the truth. So I call 3 class. We wicked grandmother and some of we parents, the churches, the media houses, the P&M. Them is responsible for the condition of this country. You cannot tell me a country that is rich in resources, a country which just the other day was one of the gems in the Caribbean. You know who he is now? Rowley said, that's what we is in the Caribbean now. You might make a statement with do something, the thing.
Yeah, wow.
That's where we is now. That's where we are now. Everybody riding we back because we become the donkey of the Caribbean. I know I become the donkey of the Caribbean because some of our parents, our grandmother, the media houses, and the church and the P&M. That is why we're here. Jeffrey, where I telling you, me and guessing, you know, I sit down in church. I tell you I do theology. I tell you I graduate. I tell you I could be what I want to be. You want to know, Jeffrey? And let me tell you something. I sit down in places already where the minister telling you we have to support this government. And you know what is the analogy they use? We can't support the Hindus because we don't believe what the Hindus believe.
Which has nothing to do with politics.
Victor,
And that's what everybody run with. Welcome, caller.
yeah, Victor, good night. Jeffrey, good night.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, good
As
night.
it pertains to the journalists and back in Hitler's government, he had a subsection where he would have talked about where the press would have been called irregular press, I believe. And when we refer to it in English, we would call it the looch press, which is the lying press. You know, and in Germany, that's actually derogatory. So tell our journalists that is big problems, you know, because they have things moved away from that. But so it don't surprise me at all when you see this kind of thing going on with journalists in the country. You know, I don't have the solution for it, but I guess that's a good analogy for what is going on. And as it pertains to the church, I believe it was Archbishop Gordon this week who lamented his sentiments about how he felt and this, that, and the typical, stereotypical answers people give when they hear about child abuse and so on. And he also said that there's some independent professionals who will be coming through the church and they will be distributed upon to the homes and so on for whatever reason, to bring the home to the highest standard of safety was his exact word, right? To bring the home to the highest standard of safety. But I say, I don't really trust anything that the church sending to the homes. We're not so sure if those people will be acting on children, especially being independent and coming from the church. Why don't those, you know? Interesting. And he only did that because he had some celebration. But he only spoke about it because Holy Mass or something like that.
All right, caller. Thank you for the call.
All right, caller. Thank you. And I forget our group. Jeffrey, remind me, boy, like them is your partner now.
Who is that? Tell me. I know that group.
The wicked set of trade union leaders. I forget them. What?
So all of them are partner now. So I
all your partner.
Yeah.
They tell them your real partner, say they're wicked to support what's going on in this country.
Some of them are supporting it. I can tell you that. Some
of
of
them.
But the leaders and them is what blocking the leaders in the trade union and them is what blocking them and making it look.
And that's
like
why
if the people in the union supporting them. That
is why I say the wicked trade union leaders.
Right.
Because some friend in the trade union movement too.
But not the leaders and them.
Boy,
they really want them to go in, but they're afraid.
Let me tell you something.
They're afraid.
I'm going to make a song. All I want you to say is, Balize. You could say that?
There you go. I know that song.
Roger.
Balize. Balize.
Anisette.
Balize.
Lambert.
I'm afraid to say that word, but I better say two Balize for you because he's a man. when he started those songs, he just pray and call down the spirit of his ancestors, like if he's a Shango man.
Yeah. What? I'm telling you, we could make that song because that is the reality. That is the reality, boy. Let me tell you something now, boy. I'm going to start to do some series here for the youths and them. And Archie,
since you're now,
it has some songs that Archie got to learn to play. He wouldn't normally play them, not because he don't like them, but you know, like all of us, there's some stage of music that we pass. You understand? But I have to wake up the youths and them in this country. You see how Lambert calling the ancestors? I'm going to call the youths.
Well, since you're in that matter, on the 10th, which is 2 days from now, they're supposed to get a response from the negotiation thing that after the march and thing, so they're waiting to see what they're going to get. Remember the march where you take business down, they're waiting on the 10th of this month is the deadline.
So hear the song. Hear the song. Step down, Rowley, step down. Step down, in both, step down. Step down, Rowley, step down. When you see trade union leaders go encourage that, when you start to sing Rowley must go, you see how quick they shut it down?
But they're smart.
Welcome, caller.
Good night, Jeff. Good night, Mr. Robert.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Just imagine, right? The refinery where Patriot bid for and present everything. The union who represent the organization, people come out to see that if Patriot gets it, it remain in Trinidad and create jobs. So you see how what they're saying, everything for sale. Because remember, it had a prime minister just slow down in the 2006 coming up your day, was privatizing everything and selling out everything. And they were started from under Manning time. And just imagine the pedophile group come out and protest to keep the pedophile ring in government and not protest that we should have a betterment. And in the energy sector we're talking about, just imagine Guyana. Just get oil and gas yesterday, and the economy ruined. And this over here, the Dwayne, call it in there, the stink man who developed all the money in Trinidad and Tobago and enriching themselves through the legal way, through the study work, through procurement, and keeping it out, and nobody is talking. Because you know why? If the Catholic board, all of the shop and priests and them could talk politics and sell a piece of land to build Balize house and see no evil, hear no wrong, nothing. What do people do? And when you stand up for them and you're telling them, you know what to tell you? You're wrong. And the media, check all the subsidiaries. You want to know how the media get in the pound of flesh. See what Express own, what subsidiary. See what Guardian own subsidiary. See what Newsday own subsidiary. And how they filter the money to them. You tell the people, when you try to tell people that they don't understand, how the Express do it. And all the shows. Just imagine, CNC3 could promote the pedophile ring by the Red House. They get the promotion of the match. Have a nice day, Mr. Robert. And
thank you, caller. You see, I will tell you something, caller. I will tell you something, and you're correct. I will tell you something, and I will not stop. I will not stop till justice come to these children. I will not stop till justice come to these children. I'm going to play the same tune like an old tenor pan, making the same song all the time until justice come to our children. The same church, the same leaders who were vocal in 2010 throughout 2015, who was talking all kind of thing, they won't tell we that they're none. Just imagine, a none name in the report, a none. You understand? When you will expect these people to be guardians of our children, they more sick than a certain minister. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening, Doctor.
Go ahead, Elsie.
Good evening, Renaissance. Good evening, Archie, and the rest of the Douglas team. Elsie Coro in the house. Regarding the topic of discussion, right? I want to point out that a certain dynamic that is going to be very controversial. So I'll let you know in advance. Forgive me in advance. Is the concept of the woman. The Fat Ass Brigade, right, is the most anti-woman union in Trinidad, right? And all these people showing their true colors, right? Mala Dukaran, Ramona, Nunes Teixeira, the Women's League. All these people is women. It's women. And as men, right, Jeffrey and Victor, as men, you know, this is the woman fighting on the woman. You know, this is woman making fun of Minister Bundles.
Kola,
and they close and woman fight. Yeah.
I need to correct you right away with one thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to reverse the word when you tell me all these women is women, because that is not true.
Well, some of them, yeah, okay. I think I get where you're coming from, but but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
these women. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Zikoro. Go
Go ahead, we
Yeah,
hear
I was
you.
gonna say that all these women who are in leadership, the next one, Suzette Lowe, she's the next one. I call and she out. All they can find to do is bash Kamala and bash on a woman. All these school fights, girls fighting each other. No, when it's not here, what's going on? With boys, it's not the same thing, you know, because if I catch Jeffrey with the arm, I say, well, Jeffrey, I hard luck, boy. Molly catch you with red-handed, don't be tough, dog, don't be tough. We tend to look out for our brothers more. But is the women fighting on the women? Is the woman fighting on the women? I'm not saying, I forgive me for being a little bit, I don't know what is the word, boy, but I think the women is causing most confusion. The president, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, the Speaker of the House, the president of the Senate, the president of the Law Association, all these women, they behavior stinks, and they're causing the most confusion, and we're fighting on each other.
Thank you, Elsie.
You know what I'm saying? Just a point of note, and just something to think about, right? Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Elsie Curd. He says it's a cat war there that going on, you know. Females, you know.
Don't feel so. Don't feel so, you know.
No, well, you seen, the man have a point out, he make a point there, you know.
It has some woman head who baller than mine, you know.
Right, I understand that.
But it has some woman man who head baller than mine too.
Right, I understand that too. But what's going on there? So we're saying in the parliament then, watch how the woman get on with Kamala in the parliament?
You see, let me tell you where that stemmed from. That stemmed from the hooligan prime minister.
Right. He set a precedent.
Right. That stems from the hooligan prime minister. When you have a prime minister who conducts himself as a dog, behaves like a dog, eats like a dog, smell like a dog, bark like a dog, it had to be a dog. It can't be nothing else. Right. Let me come back to the prime minister now. I know I tied two in one day. The prime minister demonstrate a certain disposition. Out of that, he demonstrates a particular type of behavior. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Victor.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Yeah, no other boy that. All right. What I want to say, I heard scammers spoke about it on the platform and these days, but I think we should be hitting them all the time with this. That they always the media, speaking about the media they always bring in the people like all anti UNT to come and talk on the platform like that. Talk about social media like social media is normal like TV 60 and TV3 and all these people. Imagine they bring both you talk on certain issues in the country. They bring in this one for MSJ. What's his name? These guys and then they ask about UNT issues. Right? We think the UNT should put this guy Fuad Khan and all these different kind of issues. Certain things are happening because we're asking these people who won't have two people in the party, but they're asking them their views on certain things. You gotta hit them too, Them need hitting too bad.
All right, thank you,
All right, thank you, caller. So when the prime minister conducts himself and set a precedent with a certain behavior pattern, then you have to expect he will also choose frontliners as to his kind of nature. Now, the Speaker of the House, I consider the Speaker of the House to be not only a disrespectful woman, but I also consider her to be a person that is not intelligent.
All right.
Not only so, But I would expect the Speaker of the House to look at the interests of the country first. The same country that your husband benefiting from. The same country that paying her husband. The same country that have him on so many state boards. I would have believed that the Speaker would have looked after country and not look after Rowley. The Speaker is a double standard woman.
All right.
And when somebody is double standard, they will be unstable in all their ways. You understand what I'm saying? Added to that, I have seen. Let's press answer. Welcome, caller. I have seen the Speaker on her feet, Keith Rowley, behaving like a wajang. And the Speaker had to sit down and Keith Rowley remained standing. You hear what I'm telling you? That is what I have seen in the same parliament. Welcome, caller.
Yes, Mr. Victor Robert. I'll try to make it short.
Yeah, because we crossed over to douglAR politics, eh?
Listen, they're supposed to report these people to the Pope. The Pope could talk to our government. Once they write and tell the Pope, look, they're taking children out of the Catholic place. He will deal with the bishop. He will deal with all of them inside a day. And when you tell them it's a government ministers, you feel he can't tell them to step down? Call election? He have that power. He is the boss for all religion, everybody. He is the Papa. Papa Francisco. Right.
It is either.
Thank you, caller. So, Rowley remained standing and the Speaker had to sit down. You hear what I'm telling you? So when you see this kind of double standard, once somebody is double standard, they is also unstable. And once you are unstable, you will get the kind of result that you will get from the Speaker. This Speaker in our parliament, this Speaker believe that that's her private bedroom. She will watch a big man like Saddam Hussein and tell him, put on your paper and watch me in my eye.
I could not understand that.
Watch me in my eye, so you know what's going on?
And then I saw insincere and them kind of...
So why she want Saddam to watch she in she eye? She tell the man, put on the paper and watch me in my eye to apologize.
Yeah, but he did apologize and she say it didn't sound insincere. I didn't understand that. Wait, what is that?
When they see, Jeffrey, you see, let me tell you something. People that watch Arnold Roberts, and they just like Arnold Roberts. People go watch me and they go watch me, and he could pass. But they go like Arnold. You know why they like Arnold? They like Arnold because he a douglAR. So who knows why the Speaker of the House wants Saddam Hussein to watch his eye? Probably she want a Arnold. Is that douglAR? So you know what's going on?
Don't say that too hard enough because the man wife might be listening.
Is that douglAR?
Nah, don't say that.
That's the only reason. So you tell them, man, put on a paper, watch me in my eye. Where am I watch you for? Where am I watch you for? I tell you they go watch Arnold, they like him right away, they go watch me and they have about 3 thoughts. He might pass. So the Speaker maybe want a young Arnold. But Saddam is not the man. You got to go straight to the fountain.
Yeah, but I didn't understand that. You know. She tell him, he say he apologized, but she still trying to tell him it's not song insincere. Say it again.
Boy, let me tell you something. These people in this country believe that this is PNM country and they could do what they want to do. They believe anything they feel to do. Rowley will get up on and if he feels to say, look, no football is no football. Anything they feel to do, they do. That is how the thing going. That is how the thing going in the country. But we have to stand up as we wrap up. Mm-hmm. We have to stand up and put this thing in perspective. We have to stand up and bring the facts to the people so the people understand exactly what is happening. And all don't worry, you know, Arnold in the studio. Don't worry, Arnold is here. So don't worry. Arnold in the studio. And, you know, I heard one president say that I must decrease for another to increase. Good night.
How we going? How we going?
Going good, man.
Politics getting already from douglAR Radio, man. Oh, Lord, let me get the mindset, man.
Yeah, man.
The boys, are they doing good?
Yeah,
Rowley, man. Rowley, press record. Amon, press record. Oh, Randall Mitchell, press record. Lord, this PNM is pressure. We want to thank you all. We come into the douglAR politics just now. Don't frighten.
douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. Listen, douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. Listen, douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. Listen, douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. Listen, douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. We had a wet throat. I don't know how I'm going to finish this show. Archie, I'm going to try to squeeze 2.5 hours into 1.5. You feel we can do it? Let me start off. Keshawn Walcott, boy. Oh Lord, my boy doing good. Don't mind if I remember on that camera. You see that javelin he's throwing there? Well, that's because we care. We care about the athletes. We give them equipment before they become superstars. Keshawn Walcott, in his first outing, he got a silver and he threw 84.07. Now he threw 89 and he got a bronze. But 89, he's moving up very nicely. So we were very happy he came third, behind the world leading Anderson Peters of Grenada. So well done to Anderson Peters of Grenada, who bettered the meet record of 83.90 with a throw of 90.75 meters. Julian Weber of Germany came second with 89.54. But my boy Keshawn with 89 meters 07. I think about 3 years ago he threw a 90 meters when he and the Nigerian thrower were going mano. So he's looking good. Well, Shamfa Kujo, like she finished with the bleaching and the Sokini and Sokau Day, she's focusing on making TNT. Who's that you put up there? I say Shamfa Kujo, Archie. Archie, want to get sleepy? Who's that? Who's that? That is Shamfa? Oh, what? Archie, why you just flip? So anyway, Shamfa, you're focusing on what? You could focus on anything. The cabinet has given you no money. Colonial has given you no money. Rowley has given you no allocation. Sport has no allocation because Rowley and Colm don't even tell you good morning in the cabinet, lady. No, you know, I now realize why. Them don't know it's you, Shamfa. Oh, Lord, look at that. Here now, Donna Cox gone. All them PNM going in the church now with camera. All of a sudden, church is PR. All them PNM just walk with a camera crew. Look, check Donna Cox. Oh, Donna Cox going to pray. And it just happened to have a camera to show Donna praying. Just like this one. Foster going to pray. It a cameraman and video. And Archie, watch, Foster. Foster answer no question. Foster dancing, man. Yes, Foster. Next dance you have to do is go Lekototu. But don't study that, Foster. Here what you have to do. Foster put up an image. Archie, he say he going on a meet the people tour. Wait, Foster, is that true? A meet the people tour? Or we ain't reached there yet? I we go deal with that after. Yes. Or you had that one, but we could put up that now if you want, you know. Foster say he going on a meet the people tour. Well, douglAR politics, we changed that. We edit it. Foster, you need to go meet the police tour. You understand? It's a special branch. ACIB, FIU, all kind of thing. You don't study to meet the people. Go and meet the police. Now, in Trinidad and Tobago, my beloved country of oil and gas, milk and honey, money is no problem. The PNM and Colonial says we boom, we have a windfall. We paying bills. Everything is great. The UNC and Kamla, they are just obstructionists. They are negative. The people are happy. The people live a good life, says Small Pin on Quest on CNN. In Trinidad and Tobago, the people live a great life. Look at the great life my people leading under the PNM. Somebody say, come for some job. Come for some job, you know. Not PhD job, you know. Not monthly pay job, not job with pension, you know. Not real public service moving job, not entrepreneurial job, you know. They say, look, come for job. Look at what happened in my beloved country because of the incompetence of the PNM. Look how people suffering. Run it, Archie.
Them are the best. All the youths, new dance, they are go like this. All the youths rocking with the PNM. Everybody rolling with the PNM. All the steppers moving with the PNM. With the PNM, with the PNM. New dance for the PNM. The PNM. All the youths and all the children. New dance for the PNM. For the PNM, for the PNM. Right foot, balize. Left foot, balize. Everybody just do the balize. Everybody just do the balize. Right foot, balize. Left foot, balize. Everybody just do the balize. The new dance is called the balize. Them other party can't test. PNM is pure happiness. Them deliver all the promises. Integrity at its finest. New dance, balize, just do it. New dance, balize.
All of a sudden they're concerned about death in the country. They're concerned about who hungry. They're concerned about who's starving. They're concerned about... Just give me a break.
And I'm nothing to get, John.
Just do it. Red flag, red rag, just show it. Red rag, red flag, just show it. All the youths rocking with the PNM. The PNM. Everybody rolling with the PNM. PNM. All the steppers moving with...
In Trinidad and Tobago, there was a stampede for jobs in a COVID-19 pandemic on a cruise ship. Stampede for jobs. Run it, Archie, show them, because don't let them say I'm a lie.
all they want is your email address and a phone number.
And I think they have reached capacity and they might do a virtual interview. That ends song and so short.
So why they have these thousands of people stand up outside here when they can tell people that so people
simply announce it so people will make the decision
if they want to stay or if they want to go.
So it wasn't like an interview?
No, it's not an interview. All they're taking is your name, your email address, and your phone number.
A pre-screening. A pre-screening, they call it. I call it that. Maybe a waste of time. You think it's that they just reach the capacity? But they don't really want to come out and say that, but they ask anyone and say.
Okay, you came from, eh?
Maruga.
And you, ma'am?
Point 40.
Point 40 and Maruga?
Yeah.
And what time you got here this morning?
3.
And you, ma'am?
3.
From Maruga.
Alright, thank you. I think they should just announce something and say, tell the people that there is a capacity. So if they
some leave point 14, Maruga, to come and line up, to put their name, email, and phone number down, to get a work in a kitchen, in a bar, waitress, cleaner, on a cruise ship in my country. You all thought, when Kamala was Prime Minister, if they had crowd like that, it's to go and see Marshall, Kess, Bungie, Fayan, and a big fete going on. People who buy ticket rushing because people have money, economy, 55,000 jobs. Look at my people. And all of you who like to play race. I look at about 35 minutes of footage. And I average in, because the douglAR always, since all they like to play race, I only see about 11% are Indian there. So the people who vote, who the PNM say must vote for them, black people must vote for PNM. When I tell you, do not equate black African with PNM, because PNM is the colonial oppressor just in a different shade and color with a different mantra. Great is the PNM, the cult. When they had the Black Power Revolution, it was against the PNM. PNM suffers black people. Look at people suffering across the board. This is my beloved country. Look at young people fighting for jobs. You have people with degrees, master's degrees and so on, begging for any little work on Facebook, saying they don't matter what salary, they will do anything. And Rowley with his arrogance, and the PNM still arrogant, and nothing working in this country. And not only beat them, had to live with sewage and then tutu water for 7.5 months. All over in HDC, PNM properties that they cannot maintain. Look now. Residents of Lakeview Housing Development in La Fortune, Point 14, are seeking urgent assistance from the Housing Development Corporation, HDC, to fix a sewer line that has spilled raw sewage on their properties. When Newsday visited on Friday morning, they found raw sewage flowing onto the properties in Point 14. Point 14 is PNM. You know what else is PNM? Diego Martin is PNM. Diego Martin is Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of the Republic. Diego Martin have called him but the acting Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the Minister of Finance. And look what's going on in Diego Martin. Archie showed them and now film this according to the former member. A little drive in Diego Martin, as you could see my diesel burn out already. Burning out fast, but that's not the point. We're taking a little drive here in Diego Martin. This is the WASA stop by the super farm, right? Just to show you that right there were 2 and 3 leaks. Down by super farm down there, there's a leak. There's a leak that we're going over right now. That car just went through it. How many are it? 3? Okay, we're going along this little piece of road. You see, it's drizzling, but you see how wet that side of the road is? So there's a leak right there by those tires, you see, and across the road. was that 4 leaks. How far we went? 200 meters. Then in front there is where WASA spent 4 days trying to fix a leak. And then the next day it worked, it leaked again, and it's come another day and a half. It's not leaking now, but that could be 5. Right underneath us is 6. And then we turning on to the Diego Martin main road. And this is the constituency. Diego Martin area has the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, Acting Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Minister of everything, Minister of buying new car, Minister of 0001001, right? This is their constituencies. So what you feel will happen to the rest of all in the country? Bless. Minister man, well, I hear this new one now. A lady had no water in she house since December. No water in the line whatsoever. WASA fully aware, Minister man. How are you hear this one? Since December, not a drop of WASA water reach. So the lady getting truck-borne water to she house since January, February, March, until right now. But Minister man, explain this to me. In March, your WASA people send a crew to cut the road. You know what? Let us cut the road before you come and dig up the road. Well, they cut the road since March, and all that remains is the cut. It's best we come and put a band-aid on that cut, because nobody here come and fix by the lady house yet. And then on top of that, while the lady not getting a drop of water, I want all the people listen to me, you know, this disgusting PNM and this disgusting dunce here. WASA is fully aware that the lady only getting oxygen in she water tap. Right? No water. But you know what WASA doing? In January, bill, wherever the bill is. February, wherever the bill is. March, April, May, June. Now the bill reach whatever is WASA's Rubicon, whatever is their level, it reach 1100. Hear what WASA say. Unless you pay the bill for the water that you did not get, we're not giving you no truck water. Let me repeat. WASA is now telling the citizen, yes, we are aware that you got no water since December, but we have been billing you for oxygen. And you must pay for the oxygen because your bill that you are paying for nothing has reached a certain level, which means we're not sending no water for you in our truck until you pay the bill that we didn't give you no service for. Eh? Are you really serious? Are you really serious in this country? Get a mosquito out there, man.
I never imagined that leaks could have prevented people from getting an efficient water supply because it breaks down pressure and the water cannot go to communities on the upper levels.
And wow. Amazing, eh? What an amazing situation. And then this government under that minister says the government is to announce WASA restructuring plans. So incompetent people who know nothing about WASA, who have no brain, who have this country in a total mess, are now in charge of restructuring an organization in order to try to get them to perform better, when the cabinet itself is the worst performing institution in the Caribbean. Make that make sense. And then now, put back the minister man here. He come out the bathroom here, he finished doing whatever he do in the bathroom. Bring him back. Right? Put him there. This one here who are actually going to put back there says frustration over water, says Gonzalez. Just to remind y'all, the Minister of Man is this one, Minister Marvin Gonzalez. Y'all want to know why I call him the Minister of Man? Some of y'all forgot. He was in a function in Chagaramas doing some ribbon cutting or something. And about 300 meters away, 2 men were in a van, and his eyes so good, and he focused on the man in the van that he realized the wrong man was driving the van, and he, who have all kind of work to do to ensure that he learn that leaks break pressure and people need water, he went to try and get the man in the van banned from walking. Why he's so passionate about man, I don't know. That's why he's the minister man. Because he clearly not passionate about all your water. He clearly wasn't passionate about the Beetham residents who were smelling tutu water for 7 months. He is passionate about a man in a van. That's why we call him the minister of man. And I ask you, what you was doing in the bathroom when your wife came home? Since you want to come and talk and buff up Wade Mark about reprehensible, what were you doing that was so reprehensible in the bathroom home that your wife got so upset? And tell the people. But listen to this clown now. Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez is apologizing to consumers for what he admitted is a poor water supply in almost all parts of the country. Speaking during the launch of the WASA something, this man, Gonzalez, Minister Man, said, and I quote, and I want all of you who vote PNM and who discussing PNM and who talking about race rather than performance, rather than policy, rather than intellect, rather than qualification, rather than ability to be creative, diversify the economy and serve the people. If all you want to talk about who have afro, who have weave, who have straight hair, who put coconut oil in their head, very good, interesting. But listen to this man, who is the worst minister in the history of public utilities, where less than 16% of the population is getting a 24/7 supply. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa in 2014, 74% of the population was getting a 24/7 supply in the house. Listen to the minister man. We have too many communities getting a level of service once every 9 days. I mean, really, once every 9 days. And by the way, don't feel it's only happening in one part of Trinidad. Almost every part of Trinidad, you can get a community or two getting water supply once every 9 days. And if WASA, for whatever reason, there's a disruption on their system, as the case may be, miss that particular schedule, guess what? You have to wait 9 days again, because they don't want to do an off-schedule supply. Because by doing an off-schedule supply, it means that someone else's schedule will be disrupted. How can you go for 18 days without water? That's the reason why people burn tires. They take to the streets and they engage in fiery protests. 18 days? It has some communities in Diego Martin have no water 3 months. It has some places in Central, St. Helena, Carpachaima, no water for 7-8 months. Down in Penal, Naparima, ask Dave Tanku, ask Barry Padarat, Rodney Charles, ask Rushton Parry in Mayaro. It have people have no water 7 months. But listen to this. This man is in charge. It's his job. He come to say, he basically saying, well, I am a goat. I cannot do anything. It is really bad and it has gotten worse. And, well, I am incompetent and I have no ability to do this. I'm way over my head. I'm drowning in water that doesn't exist. And the water that exists is brown like tutu water. I am just unable to do this job. But he didn't sign a resignation. He is talking like it is somebody else's responsibility. That he is saying that everywhere across the country, nobody has water, and it's terrible. But he is the Minister of Public Utilities of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So his position now is, all the UNC, relax now. It's not that it have discrimination. It's not that only Indian not getting water. It's everybody getting water, so it can't be discrimination. I not do this just for Indian. I do this for everybody. I do this for UNC. I do this and incompetent for PNM. I do this and incompetent for Trinidad and Tobago. That the man answer, and then he go come and say, vote for he, you know. And the children must be proud to be a Marvin Gonzalez. All you didn't remember that man say that in the parliament? That children could look up to he. A man who is a total failure by his own admission, but yet does not have the testicular fortitude to say, I resign, so that somebody else, sharper, brighter, and more capable could come and serve people instead of suffering people because of his incompetence. That is what PNM is do. PNM ministers just come and say, well, there was a problem. The problem get worse. This is the problem at its worst. Give me my money. Let me go and buy a Benz. That's their job, and you all see elections have consequences. Look, former WASA CEO, Sherland Shepherd, sent on vacation. You lie so much in the Joint Select Committee, they had to suspend you and send you on vacation. Also, that tender question about the van, not this man in the tan van, right? But the one with the van, the tender where you needed to own a van, but the tender closed on the 20th of September 2018. But the company that win the tender, the only get the van registered to them on the 29th of September 2018. Sherland Shepherd, while you're on vacation, answer that now. And WASA trying to put out something to say that them fix in May 2,660 or some kind of thing leaks, really? All you just fix one leak 5 times and multiply it and say it fixed. And all them leaks you fix. Just like I show with all you right there in Dago Martin. Right? Sherland Shepherd, he gone on vacation. Them fix a leak for 4 days, block off traffic, inconvenience the whole of Dago Martin. As them cover up the hole and gone home, it busts way again. And right where they fix that leak, have 5 more leaks within 300 meters. And that is WASA. Imagine extrapolate that out the whole country now. And this clown trying to say that it's not a distribution problem. It's a productivity problem. And then this one try to lie on the Salcott just like his dishonest, pathological lying prime minister. He lie on the cost. The Salcott is $1 US, not 180, as Ian Rowley said. 7C is the PNM foreign company that gets gifts from the PNM. It's 181 per cubic meter plus 7C's. WASA does pay the electricity bill for them, but these fellas attacking the Salcott. The Salcott was created and brought in to produce water for the energy sector, where it still remains profitable to WASA, except that this government crashed the energy sector. Mittal closed down. 11 companies at Point Lisa's closed down. Point Lisa's running at 23%. Petrotrin shut down. Nikwan blow up and can't produce nothing. And that's why there is no demand for water in the energy sector, because of the PNM. Elections have consequences. This PNM gone and run a bid wrong. 4 out of 17. Imagine your child come home and say, Daddy, Mommy, I had a spelling test. I got 4 out of 17 right. What is it say? And then when you talk about that, here the next thing, he in charge of. But I had noticed it, but this gentleman, this citizen, put it succinctly. Because all over Trinidad and Tobago where I drive, it had darkness. Good thing the van high beam does work good. But a man analyze it, because this man must be that when a bulb blow, it need changing, because you see, when the bulb blow and there's darkness, if you take out that bulb and you put in a new one, illumination. That's probably what that's his next lesson. Run it, Archie.
TikTok has something to address. And I really hoping this video reach where it's supposed to reach, so that us, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, get some kind of redress on this matter. Today I want to call out the TTPS and TNTEC for what they are condoning right now on the nation's roadways. Throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of dark spots on the highway. In front of the Nagar, heading towards the Beatum. These dark spots, the TTPS are using to hide behind a vehicle, hide in the bush, lie down on the ground to get a speeding ticket. At the end of the day, all the lights on the highway are there for a specific reason, and they are there so that drivers can have additional lighting to see when they're driving. Come on. The bulbs blown. TNTEC, change the bulbs. Don't leave it there so the police could hide to get a speeding ticket. TTPS, do better. Find a different way to give somebody a speeding ticket when they're disobeying the law. Right is right, wrong is wrong. change the blown bulbs on the highway and light up the highway proper so that everybody could see while they're driving. Because at the end of the day, if somebody come and drive and hit one of those police officers, God forbid, and mash up the car and kill somebody, everybody go vex. TPS, Tech, do better. Do better.
Man, makes sense. But then he borrow a statement there from Ayanna Webster Roy. Because Ayanna Webster Roy received, on behalf of the government, the PNM government of Trinidad and Tobago, in the office of the Prime Minister, the office of Keith Christopher Rowley, on December 13, 2021, a Judith Jones report that came about after the murder of two children who had escaped from a state-funded home in March, and Senator David Nackett brought the issue to the fore and out in the media. And this lady said that her initial response and instinct on reading parts, if not the entire Judith Jones report, was to fire people, to get in there and keep the children safe, to make changes. And I tell you, that's the right response. And I believe that was her response. But she went on to say that someone quelled her passion, someone doused her passion, someone more powerful than her instructed her, her boss instructed, so whoever could be deemed her boss have some questions to answer. Someone instructed this lady to cease and settle, to focus on policy, to not go in there like the mother that she is to protect those children instantaneously, immediately like she wanted to. Somebody thwarted her motherly passion. Somebody thwarted her humanity. And somebody told her to focus on policy. And up to now, children are still in the hands of rapists and pedophiles. And she now goes in the parliament to talk to pedophiles, sickos, and tells them, do better. Really? Do better? Do better than what? They're doing the most heinous, evil, disgusting, dastardly acts. What is do better? And then leave those two up there, because we see now the police who are under a acting commissioner of police selected by this clown here, Kunta Kinte here, yeah? He say he's Kunta Kinte proud. Mr. Oreo are coming to deal with you. You, Kunta Kinte, does go and play golf. Kunta Kinte does go and lime in Goodwood Park and let white people call him my N. That's how Kunta Kinte and the African does drop it. Kunta Kinte, if he had power, would have suffered black people like how you suffering black people just now. Kunta Kinte would have leave children in a home to be buggered and raped under his watch if Kunta Kinte was in charge of the government. No. They had to beat Kunta Kinte. And by the way, that was just a story, but no big thing. It was based on reality. They had to beat Kunta Kinte within an inch of his life for him to say, my name is Toby. But this one I come in there just now. The police are relying on adults at children's homes to report abuse. Let me read that for you again. The Judith Jones report shows that adults who are in charge of the children abusing, raping, buggering, beating, burning with cigarettes the children. And right now, 7 months after the report reached in the hands of these two, the police under the acting commissioner of police selected by this one, because he thwarted the meritless and misbehaving public office, the police are saying that they are relying on the adults at the very homes where the children are being abused. So the Trinidad and Tobago, all you feel is joker. Guardian, page 6. the Special Victims Unit, SVU, of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has said it will not speak directly to the residents at children's homes and will instead rely on the integrity of the adults at the facilities to report abuse to their... Archie, am I a blithering idiot, Archie? Is it that I am so dotish that I can't understand? Archie, is it Judith Jones Committee did an analysis and a report about the adults in charge of the children and found that in many cases the adults are buggering, raping, beating, abusing, burning, and shattering children in these homes? Is it that I can't read or something? What is going on with me? And the police are saying that they are relying on the integrity of the pedophiles, of the rapists, of the child abusers, of the sickos, to tell them about the abuse that they are doing? Let me read it for you again, you know. Because all they go feel I lie, because I and all feel I lie. Page 6, Guardian, Wednesday, June 8, 2022. The Special Victims Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has said it will not speak directly to residents at children's homes, which means they will not speak to the children. They will not speak to the victims. Instead, they will rely on the integrity of the adults at the facilities to report abuse. If you all could explain that to me, in this beloved country of Trinidad and Tobago, under this evil, dastardly Obia man, if you all could explain that to me, then I would like you all to please go on the comments, explain it to me, because I don't understand. And you all want to talk about who name is what, and who is Indian and who's African? Eh? Really? Don't call it spyware, says National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines. In answering a question posed by Naparima MP Rodney Charles in the Parliament, Hines accused the opposition of seeking to create doubt and mistrust with the use of the term spyware to describe the interception of powers granted to the Strategic Service Agency under the Interception of Communication Act. He said this misleading language is clearly intended to create doubt and mistrust. Hines said with the Interception of Communication Act, which has since been transferred to the Strategic Services Agency as a matter of government policy. So Hines again confirms what Gary Griffith had said, that he put checks and balances in place with the spyware, the Pegasus, the Pugasus, the horse and carriage, whatever all you want to check it with. Gary Griffith put half in the TTPS and half in the SSA, because the SSA is influenced and appointed and takes direction from the government. The government gets rid and puts DCP toe jam, and DCP toe jam puts all from the TTPS to the SSA, which takes instruction from the Minister of National Security, Ethelbert Sativa Hines. And he now confirmed that. And you all have to trust them. Here the next one. You have to trust Hines. Young says, citizens will know. You could put up Young, man. Put up small pin, man. He sent a video?
Yes, because you don't want to just walk up to a random child and say, here's what, are you being abused?
It then begs the question, well, how are the police hoping to get that information from the children?
Children must be able to trust adults and come forward with the information as to whether or not, whether something is happening to them or not, and then the matter would be investigated. Remember, they are caregivers, they are security officers, they are other personnel on the compound of these children's home.
But according to the 2021 report, these so-called trusted adults are some of the people perpetrating or covering up these abuses. So how can we depend on them to bring the information to the police? Well, the police are hoping that they simply do the right thing.
We are actually hoping that persons who work at these homes, they have some sort of integrity in them and understand that children should be protected. We are also asking for whistleblowers as well.
Guyalin says those adults should remember that failing to report abuse like sexual abuse is an offense.
So if not today, tomorrow, next week, whenever the information reaches to the police, you will have a question to answer.
The superintendent admitted that she is concerned that no one has come forward with respect to the Judith Jones report, but said that they have to be patient when it comes to crimes against children. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
You have to be patient when it comes to crimes against children. Where in the world all you get our concept? Everywhere else in the world, the law is on the side of protecting the child. So it's the one area of the law where you're sort of guilty until proven innocent, because it is so critical to protect children. That's in the rest of the world. But in Trinidad and Tobago under the PNM, it is, we have to investigate slowly. We must go cautiously while children are being buggered by pedophiles, while children are being raped and beaten and battered and burned with cigarettes. We must go slow. And then we must also trust those who are in charge of the children while they're being buggered and raped and beaten, assaulted and burned with cigarettes and abused. We must trust them to have integrity. Look, woman, leave the police service and go St. Anne's and relax. Yes, you cannot be serious. Well, again, me asthma attack, yes? Alan Karim, I didn't even see that news, but thanks for that. Excuse me. Here the next one. Stuart Smallpin-Young. Rowley's Gary Sobers. Rowley's so impressed with this one. Every ministry he went to is a total calamity and failure. He's done absolutely nothing, except since he swore on the Bible to be a minister, his family has just gotten wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. Why y'all don't vote for him again? But listen to this one. Young citizens will know before fuel subsidy is removed. The complete removal of the fuel subsidy continues to be under consideration by the government. Energy Minister Stuart Young said yesterday, the complete removal of the subsidy would result in higher fuel prices. Seriously? It done high already, and I told you it's going higher. And when they liberalize and they sell all your gas stations to their friends and financiers, and they put markup on you, how many of you will not be able to drive your car? Is that a black man issue, an Indian issue, or is that a Trinidad and Tobago issue? Because this man is in charge of your lives. This clown, this miscreant, this outer rhythm. Look, So this is how the country running. Like how he does dance. Run it. Yeah, but don't throw it away because the country must see. That is why Asha Javine didn't get pregnant at all. When she go left, he outside on the right. Lord have mercy. I never see nothing so. But Chinese does normally hurry them. Oh, but he's at, you see that? You see what I tell all you when we mix up, because you see douglAR. When the douglAR hear music, the Indian part of the douglAR does hear the heights and want to go. And the African part does hear the bass. Dung dung, dung dung, dung dung. And so, you understand? The douglAR does get confused sometimes. But a little tree rum and soda and thing and everything flow nice and mix and the douglAR will get some good rhythm. But like Chinese and Indian don't mix with rhythm at all, boy. I'd ask David Lee, what does be going on? You understand? Because that's what that man do there. I still can't understand how that, you know, you cannot even replicate that. You see how my boy does replicate voice and thing, what he name? Gary Jar Group. I want to see douglAR Politics putting out a challenge. Play that video again. Anybody who could mimic this out of time in Clung here, if you could mimic that, boy, we go get up. You're getting a douglAR Politics coffee mug. Look at it. Oh God, Archie, let me tell you something. While them dancing, let me show you who have rhythm, Donna. I go show you who have rhythm. This bandit have rhythm because the PNM so incompetent. DCP Jacobs, DCP Tojam, the people have no respect for the police. Watch this bandit while he is engaged in an armed robbery. Run it.
One man in she hold, she like that. One man in she hold, one man in she hold. One man in she hold, she like that. One man in she hold, she like that. One man in she hold, one man she hold, she like that. One man in she hold, she like that.
Bandits robbing people at gunpoint and winding down the place and taking the Carib too on the way out. That is what is going on under this PNM. Move in now. Minister of Bundles, Gadsby Dudley, who caused bundles of calamity and chaos in the cabinet between Foster and Rowley because the bundles were sharing left, right, and center. The bundle says, police patrol, this is Newsday, Section A, Saturday, June 4th. Saturday, June 4th, 2022. Minister, police patrols help curb school violence. Minister of Education, Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, has said a heavy police presence has been implemented in schools identified by the ministry as having higher instances of violence. And this has brought the school violence down to zero. Archie, show the country what is zero, because the day they print that, the day before, look what happened in our nation's schools and our nation's school children. Run it. One.
Right!
show the next one. Come back to me. And that's not it. This is just one day, and they had more from today, but I ain't bothering with those for today. But this one now, and while you look at this, keep in mind that the Minister of Education said school violence was down to 0. And then after this incident now, she says, once the children out of school, it's not her responsibility, really. So if they go to a football game or they go to extracurricular or they go to play PAN, the Ministry of Education not in charge of that. If they go to play PAN, who in charge? The Ministry of Culture. If they go to play a football match or a cricket match or a netball match or a basketball match and something happen, they're not under education. They're under what, sport? Or it's not, it's the parents? Is that what your point is? That the children in school uniform are not under your care once they leave the school? But some of those fights are in school. And furthermore, where this girl get this knife from? She find it on the road? She was walking on the pavement? Somebody in a car handed it her? Or it was on her person in school all day? And it's just by fluke or whatever that the fight happened outside the school? So where the knife was, all the... Archie, show it. Show Minister Bundles. Show. That child, her face will be disfigured for life. She's lucky that she could still see. She, depending on the skill of the plastic surgeon who stitches her face, will have a scar for the rest of her life. She looked like she must be 14 or 15 there. If the people who stitch that in the emergency don't know how to stitch, and because of some of our blood, she will get a keloid. A keloid scar is a big, thick scar that will disfigure her young, beautiful face for life. The girl was coming after again, and these are girls in school uniform, and the PNM sits glibly by and says, well, they were out of school. That's not our responsibility. If the sun hits that scar, it will darken the color for life. She has to put zinc oxide on that scar so that the sun never touches it, because once scar tissue gets hit by sunlight, it stays a darker color and never comes back to your normal color. This child's life has just been changed. Look at that. And Archie, we said this about 2 months ago, didn't we say on douglAR Politics? Some child going to dead, get murdered just now in this school under this PNM, under this Minister Bundles, under this bag of people who are so incompetent, they don't understand. Rowley said in the opposition that the children were behaving like hyenas in an African jungle. But when Rowley, the Oreo, say that, all they didn't jump out and say, but Rowley attacking the black people. How you can talk black people, children, hyenas in an African jungle? Well, under Rowley, the hyenas have multiplied. And all you want to take on talk from an Oreo cookie who cuts resources to the schools, who cuts resources across the board, and has our people in a state of frustration and the future generations coming up without hope. Schoolgirl hurt in attack. Girl stabbed by schoolmate in Williamsville. And then Rowley, when all these issues are going on, all he has time to do is to post and fan the flames of racial division and divisiveness, especially among his supporters, who don't read a book, don't understand history, who do not understand or do not listen and do not care. Rowley, instead of being a statesman and a prime minister, after Camille Robinson Regis stood up on a PNM platform in Arima and spewed racist attacks on the name and the ancestry of Indian people in Trinidad and Tobago by ridiculing the name of a former Attorney General, former Minister of Education, former Minister of Legal Affairs, former Prime Minister and leader of the opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and playing games and laughing just like Winford James blew the dog whistle on May 1st, 2022, with his ridiculous column printed by the Guardian of Rowley's K-Pax, the Guardian newspaper, criticizing and ridiculing Indian names in the IPL, Hardik Pandya and others, without an iota of evidence. Dog whistling to a bunch of incompetent, uneducated, divisive clowns. Keith Rowley as Prime Minister does not pat it down. What he does is fan the flames and throw gas on it. Sushila, that's how we got the name. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. That's your Prime Minister. Why would he do that? Because the first part of this show, we've been going on for nearly an hour. No water, roads in a mess, school violence, no jobs, people suffering, stampeding, flooding, all the problems, nothing working in this country. So what does Rowley have to do? Say, don't worry, I'm still black. But there's one problem. Rowley's not black. A black man, and Rowley says, and let me get what Rowley said. All right? Somewhere here. Yes. Rowley said it's personal. This is personal. Wednesday, June 8, page 3. Says Rowley, it is not only just about a name, it's about unchangeable history. And for the Prime Minister, it's personal. I'm not surprised, but my post is an expression of a statement of historical fact. Rowley said, by the way, that's a fictional show and fictional novel by Alex Haley and so on. Right, but there are some instances of that. It mirrors the truth. Rowley said, if it makes some people uncomfortable or even guilty, then maybe they should have seen it before. He added that might have caused them to be a little more sensitive to the inhumanity of the enslavement and deculturalization experience. What, where, when, how, what? Where that coming from? Where you going with that? Your girl, bald head, Camille, attacked and ridiculed Kamla Persad-Bissessar name. Kamla hit she back, a shot of truth. Because if you and she want to play that you all are African from Africa, then your name should not be your slave names. Rowley. There was no Rowley in West Africa. There is no Robinson in West Africa. There is no Roberts in West Africa. So if we choose to be Trinbagonian, you must also realize that slavery did not really take place in Trinidad. Slavery existed more in Tobago and in Barbados. So Trinidadians say we were a place to escape to when slaves escaped from working and being beaten on the plantations. But all of that is unnecessary, because the issues that this country is going through now, with children being raped and buggered, the economic devastation, the lack of jobs, the poverty, no water, no electricity, a tree bust down all the electricity for 12 hours, the energy sector shattered, fuel price going up, food price inflation, stagflation. You come, Rowley, to fan the flames, he said. It might also have assisted, he added, with false narratives and unacceptable comparisons. Am I allowed to have a point of view? Your point of view should be one of a statesman to unite the country. But you are a great divider because of your incompetence. And the only way you can hold on to your slim margin of power is through cheating, through control of independent institutions, and through playing the race card, aided and abetted by the mass media who tolerates your nonsense. Because you cannot win an election on performance, because you fail in every single category. Keith Christopher Rowley, he said, am I allowed to have a point of view? Support from people who have a problem with my appreciation and cognizance of the experience of my ancestors and my generational trauma and disadvantages, which are rooted in the truth of the horrible experience of centuries of enslavement. Wait, Mr. Slave Man Rowley. Okay, Rowley, you are so connected to your blackness. Why did you ridicule A.N.R. Robinson when he was designated a chief name? Why did you ridicule his African name and his African roots and the respect and the regal respect bestowed on A.N.R. Robinson? Why did you call him Chief Kunumunu? Rowley, you are a black African, pan-African savior? Well, Rowley, how many black pan-African saviors you know spend half their life on a golf course, skinning up and playing up to the oppressor? How many? How many of them only get involved in rich people games? Rowley, since you have become Prime Minister, since you are so passionate about your ancestors and the oppression that was brought upon them, and you have been in charge of $393 billion over the last 6.75 years. Rowley, how much of that $393 billion have you directed to the black African Trinbagonians? How many of that money, how many resources, how much money have you invested in programs for black youth, culture, sport, improvement in infrastructure in the constituencies most in need? How much of that, Rowley? Come down from there, Rowley. Rowley, you cut UTT. Patrick Manning created UTT to uplift especially black students who got a slower start than their East Indian brothers so they could move on to higher education. Since you come in, you have attacked UTT with a passion, cutting the funding. Cost that same thing. Black people, you cut the funding. MIC, NIS, NESC centers under Kamla increase and build. You come and cut that. School feeding, you even send black people children to school hungry. You take laptops from them. You cut everything. You build a school. You cut sport funding. Football is a black man's sport. Football provides the African skill and rhythm and speed and intelligence and brilliance and creativity with big money contracts. It's an opportunity for black children, the descendants of slaves, to move up into the world and to sit down on the right side of the rich millionaires. Kamla Prasad Bisesa supported Pro League, Super League, National Team Football, boys and girls, secondary schools football and community leagues, including small goal football, live sport and basketball and netball across the board. To give her those opportunities, you cut all that. So how you are so passionate about the oppression of black people, and you are in power, and you have enslaved and oppressed black people more than ever. Rowley, hush your mouth, boy. Hush your mouth. You disgusting Oreo. How dare you? The people of Laventille, the youths of Mova and across the country, black African youths, rioted when they saw police gun down 3 men with their hands up and then dipping down to pick up things and so on. You created a committee over 2.5 years ago to create some program for black people in the corridor and black people in Laventille. Wait, how much money it get? Where the resources? Where the programs? even in URP and CPEP, in Lavanti, under Suraj Rambachan and Kamla Prasad Bisesa, there were over 210 projects per month, per fortnight in Lavanti by 10 workers. When you came in, you cut that from 210 down to 21. But you love black African. It hurts you in your heart. It is personal. But you have the power and you have not done anything towards repairing or providing reparations or access to resources. In fact, you have oppressed the people morally. You just come to blab your mouth. What you feel facts we can't read. You feel we stupid. Rowley, you even cut funding for PAN, the national instrument. You cut funding for PAN players, PAN in school. You cut funding for anything that is black. You cut funding for black people. Why you think Tobago spit you out? Tobago was the food basket of the Caribbean back in the 1800s. Tobago used to be upholding Trinidad because we was broken and poor in 1889 to 1899. Tobago spit you out and you born there. You come to talk and call down the ancestors to bless you when you call a man Chief Kunumunu. When you never walk in a Emancipation Day parade until you become Prime Minister and then all of a sudden you find African dashiki. Raul, you feel we don't know you? Rowley, in your cabinet, who are the black power brokers? Where the black people, since you would take it personal? Your Minister of Finance, what's the most powerful position? Minister of Finance? He's a black man, and call him him, but strong, powerful black African man. It's the Minister of Energy. Oh, small pin, another. Oh, that rhythmic. He really dances like a black man. Brilliant. Rowley, you are such a fraud. It is not funny. And the mere fact that the newspapers will print this drivel from you when you are confirmed. And for those of you who don't know what an Oreo is a man with black skin who sometime in his developmental stages, he did not like himself. He's a self-hater. He feels inferior because of his blackness, and therefore he feels more comfortable and happy looking towards the pinker and the lighter hues in Goodwood Park, on fishing vessels looking for blue marlin, on golf courses, in meeting with CEOs. When you take pictures with these lighter hues, the person takes on a friendly, smiley, a baby kind of look. But when he speaks to black and brown people, you see arrogance and vengeance and hatred. That's what an Oreo is. Keith Christopher Rowley is an Oreo, and he is now claiming that he is some black African supporter, proponent of black history and culture and art and music. Really? He is an oppressor. Just his skin look dark, but inside he white like the ice snow-capped hills at the top of the Himalayas. Kunta Kinte. Let me also say, when Rowley talking and attacking Kamla, I mentioned it to you all back in the day. I told you when Glenn Ramadan Singh was debated in the parliament when I was Minister of Sport. Look, I mentioned it here because it happened earlier in crosstalk. And look, I sat in this chamber. You could check the Hansard, Mr. Speaker, where you had to pull me up. This is my Hansard, member for W. Mira, Minister of Sport. Because I was sitting and crosstalk. I shouted out at the time, that is racist. And you stood up, rightfully so, and said, W. Mira, that language is not appropriate. But let me tell you why I said it. Because the Minister of the People and Social Development was on his feet speaking and making a great contribution. And the member for Dago Martin West looked out and shouted at him and said, go and put more coconut oil in your head I looked at him and I told him, that is racist. My mother used to rub coconut oil in my head every day I come out the swimming pool. And Mr. Speaker, Wade Mark said, wait, and he continued. That is Keith Christopher Rowley. That is his nasty, divisive, racist attitude towards Indian people, as illustrated by his policies that have kept the Indian downtrodden. As Prime Minister, the open fire cremation, the locking down of rivers without any sort of science, while opening beaches. His geographical and Indian discrimination through the Ministry of Local Government in the corporations run by the UNC. Keith Christopher Rowley, when it floods in Indian areas, he goes further north to Tobago, never setting foot on the ground. Keith Rowley sat there and saw his red P&M guerrillas raping and pulling the yellow sari off of a woman. And he clapped and cheered on. And he wanted to come and invoke race talk. But Israel Khan Senior Counsel, wrote a letter. Let me quote from it there now. And it's printed also today in the Express, Wednesday, 8 June. A rose by any other name is still a rose. I've just completed reading a text entitled, Why Should We Be Called Coolies by Dr. Radhika Mahes. It is based on her PhD thesis and was first published in 2020, says Israel Khan. And after reading and digesting the historical hatred and bigotry heaped upon our East Indian forefathers, I regained the inner strength from Dr. Mahes's text to say now that I fully support Kamla Prasad Bisesa for putting Camille Robinson Regis in her place for attempting to belittle and shame the East Indian name bestowed upon her culture and heritage, especially when she, Camille Robinson Regis, still holds on to her slave name. I endorse, says Israel Khan SC, the UNC Women's Arm who accused Robinson Regis of veiled and not so veiled attacks on Kamla Prasad Bisesa, using Prasad Bisesa's middle name to race bait, ridicule, thus providing hatred, bigotry, and humor for PNM supporters to consider and accept East Indian ancestral names to be inferior and thus mock and heap scorn on Kamla's Rishi name, Sushila. And what was Kamla's reply to Robinson Regis? Regis's attempt to belittle her name as a coolie name? Kamla retorted, "Stop calling my name. What you so vexed about my name for? What problem you have with my name? Camille, at least I have a name from my ancestors. Where you got yours from? Your name is that of a slave master." Israel Khan continues, I remind the citizenry of this beloved Republic of Trinidad and Tobago that the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley publicly stated that his forefathers were enslaved, and he does acknowledge that he is a descendant, whether he likes it or not, of African slaves. It thus goes without saying that he himself kept the historical slave name inflicted upon him. Maybe his great-grandchildren will find the resilience and the inner strength to throw off the African diaspora slave names and give to the children beautiful African ancestral names. But Rowley is even worse than that, Senior Counsel. Rowley ridicules African names. He ridicules Tahaka Obika. He ridicules Makandal Daga. He ridicules A.N.R. Robinson as a chief. He and Ken Valley, who were bosom buddies. Ken Valley was noted for saying that when you put on a dashiki on Emancipation Day, you look like a mook. That's Rowley's best friend. Rowley's soldier. Rowley's pandero. The blood, they line together, spend time together. They know the ins and outs of each other. Yes, they know everybody. They know everything. They know each other's secrets. These two, Ken Valley and Keith Rowley. And Ken Valley called African people who dress up on Emancipation Day mooks. And he called A.N.R. Robinson Chief Kunumunu. And now he's coming to tell you, oh, he is so hurt. Oh, my black brothers, my African slaves in 1492 onwards, I can't believe I feel it for y'all, while he spends $393 billion and suffer black people across the board. Where there's fuel subsidy, high food prices, no jobs, shut down Petrochin, shut down Point Lisas, mash up CPEP, mash up URP, mash up UTT, NESC, MIC, Bella School, no laptop, no school feeding, cut in gate, cut down everything for people and tell the black people, wean yourself off the government. He and the boys who pink have recusals to take, and he come in to play black man thing, and all you're buying that stupidity while you can't get water, while children in school stabbing each other in the face, while bandit dancing with machine gun, while you lying down on the ground, can't even drink your Carib. That's the country we now live in, the laughing stock of the globe, because we elected a total bungling idiot as Prime Minister. Israel can't continue. It thus goes without saying that he himself kept the historical slave name inflicted upon him. And to Camille Robinson Regis, if perchance you have described your complexion on your Trinbago identification card as dark brown, you can change it to black, because black is beautiful, unless you perceive yourself not being black, but brown. Your leader and Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is proud to be a black man, and he knows that in spite of his forefathers being enslaved by virtue of his education, determination, and resilience, he's the Prime Minister of this country. Well, I disagree with you with that, my brother. He is the Prime Minister of this country based on his lies on Emailgate, his obia in Lekoto on Patrick Manning, his support by Small Pin, his control of the EBC, the lies of the EBC and the extra 1 hour given to them in 2015, his putting in the niece of a PNM minister as the head of the EBC and a member of Transparency International, the mass media, the Guardian, the Newsday, the Express, TV6 and CNC3, along with 13 radio stations who support his nefarious character. That's how he became Prime Minister, not through no hard work, resilience, and intelligence. Keith Rowley's a complete blithering idiot and a dunce. So I disagree with you there, Senior Counsel, but I continue. And to Kamla Prasad Bisesa, I say to you that you are an extremely strong woman, and I am proud of you. Other lesser political mortals would have meekly and conveniently allowed Robinson Regis's insult and attempt to belittle your name as a coolie name in order to gain a few hundred Afro-Saxon European votes. But it is not in your nature and cultural heritage to take that type of insult. You represent the strength and resilience of all women in this country, and you are setting the standard for the young women in this country to stand firm in their right to be treated with respect, fairness, and equality. Kamla, you are like the goddess Durga with many hands and swords, who would metaphorically swipe off the heads of your sworn enemies, be they cultural or political. And to the East Indian weaklings in the country, some who profess to be UNC members, I say to them, it is better to lose a few hundred votes and even weaken the UNC chances of capturing the reins of government than to lose your cultural heritage and soul. What does it profit Kamla to capture government, but in the process lose her cultural heritage by meekly accepting the bigotry by an African high-profile lawyer politician, Camille Robinson Regis? And she possesses a coolie name, really? And incidentally, Kamla Prasad Bisesa is also a high-profile lawyer politician in this country. But Kamla, you must forgive Camille Robinson Regis, because she did not and could not appreciate the significance and strength of your Rishi name, Sushila. And as for me, my mother branded me with a Christian slave name, Israel. But my surnames indicate that I am also a combination of Hindu and Islamic heritage and culture, Raja Khan. So Camille Robinson Regis, I say to you that a rose by any other name is still a rose, and you may be proud of your slave name. But it would be nice if your grandchildren could reclaim their beautiful African ancestral names. And God bless our nation, where every creed and race can find an equal place. Justice for all, and Jahaji Bai. Senior Counsel Israel Khan. I also listened to an elder statesman, a man who has lived his life and has a full experience, starting off as a jockey under the PNM, listening and learning from those, seeing those in the cabinet of Dr. Williams, Johnny O'Halloran and Privat, while going to the USA to learn and to train boxers and rubbing shoulders with Muhammad Ali, with Malcolm X, and other great African leaders of the civil rights movement. I listened intently to Boxo Potts on Gael the channel. Run it.
Indian African politics, but the PNM UNC politics. You all have degenerated into something that the world is now laughing at us. The Guyanese laughing at us. The Bajan laughing at us. And like we're laughing at ourselves and don't know we're laughing. We kicks in Parliament. Camille, foot in mouth, Robinson Regis. You stood on a platform and you call out Kamala's name in a very derogatory way, as if though you're berating the woman. She herself went on her own platform and called you out, albeit the facts. I have a slave name. My name is Boxo Potts. And when the Pottses around the world perform at the highest level, horse racing, one bowling, and they both look your family out there and say, them is my oppressors, not my family. They hurt my foreparents, beat them, brutalize them, and give them a name Potts. My original name is Siratan. My father was born Bechan Siratan. He went to Tobago and he was adopted by the Potts and I get Potts. I had a stint in America with a fellow they called Muhammad Ali. I spent a little time at the camp up in Deer Lake with him. Trangelo Dundee and some other friends. Shakeout Henry used to be up there. Willie Rodriguez, the former middleweight champion himself, used to train at that gym. And Muhammad Ali said something to me. Be proud of who you are and not who they want you to be. Be proud of who you are. If you want to change your name to Muhammad Ali, change it. Name to Malcolm X, change it. Muhammad Ali stood up in front of the world and denounced his slave name, Cassius Clay. When they called him to be drafted into the army, they said to him, we are going to call you Cassius Clay. And if you don't answer to Cassius Clay, we go jail you. He say, prepare the jail cell. Nobody put me there to call me. Prepare the jail cell. I'm not answering to Cassius Clay. For the rest of my life, that is an oppressive slave name. They tried him and he didn't answer. They asked Malcolm X if he went to any court to change his name from whatever he was to Malcolm X. He said, all he did was go to a court to give me the name. I've been part of that movement at one time. I was out there with them fellas. It was a privilege. They just hang around and be around them guys. 1976, 77, 75, 76, 77. Keith Rowley, when you could egg on and encourage your foot in mouth minister, that's Robinson Regis are talking about, to be mimicking a former prime minister name in the public domain, and believe she don't have the rights to response. She don't have the rights to response. She don't have the rights to respond to the berating and the mimicking of a name in public.
And Linda Capildeo writing in the Express a letter to the editor, printed in all the newspapers, Tuesday, 7 June 2022, under the heading, The Shaming of Olokun Igbaro et al. I highlight our late President Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson, who was recognized a prince in Nigeria when he visited the country in the late 1980s as the NAR Prime Minister. He was crowned Chief Olokun Igbaro. But sadly, when he returned to Trinidad and Tobago, this poor man was so humiliated and terrorized by the same PNM that is chasing down Kamla Prasad Bissasa's heritage and appearance. They pilloried and demeaned this son of Tobago, so that when he became president, he emphasized the name Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson. No Afrikaner there. So the Camilles and the Keats and the Nobrigas, name belonging to the slave master class of yesterday et al., try to humiliate you like they do with the Chinese. Everything is a joke for them, starting with your name, and then your hair, and then your shoes, until it goes too far. How many persons of African descent gave their children African names? For the girls, Mpule, and for the boys, Ayogoro or Obika. Few recognize the greatness of Kwesi and Makandal, warriors, I tell you, in the Maasai world. These children would come home crying like many East Indian children who went to school with long Indian names and say, Mommy, why did you give me such a stupid name? This is the primitive tribal provocation and bullying that Camille Robinson Regis is conjuring up. And Linda Capildeo continues, if someone maintains a name that has ancestral or religious connotations, please do not take it to the political platform for ridicule and odium and pull it down like monkeys when they see a yellow sari. I applaud the opposition leader, while the clique of Vasant, Bohindradat, all deep-seated Indian names, will try to lampoon her for standing up for her Indianness. They will fail, since she is a symbol to Indian women who have struggled and continue to do so. High praise for the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisasa. So this is the last of it. I have dealt with that insensitive, disgusting human being who promotes racist ideals and divisiveness in the society, Keith Christopher Rowley, and his minion, Camille Robinson Regis. Kamla Prasad Bisasa put her in her place. Now let's focus on the issues at hand. For example, we have 4 divers who are still dead. They've been dead since February, late February. And here I have to read, procedural hearing for Commission of Inquiry into Paria tragedy to begin in August. We in June now. They're dead since February 27th. But the PNM says the Commission of Inquiry, and with an arrogant tone, will begin with procedural motions in August, when information has come out that these men were underground for 39 hours, gasping for air, surviving, and Paria Newman George, husband of the Speaker of the House, best friend and neighbor in Inez Gate of Keith Christopher Rowley, the man who's put in charge of 7 boards. He and his administration prevented rescue efforts from going on and claimed that the gentleman died when they were still alive, as science has told us. And yet we are here talking about Kunta Kinte when 4 men were left to die under the ground underwater in a pipe. And all those who were in charge, who thwarted efforts to save them, still have their jobs. No justice, no peace. As we talk about that, we will forget and move on from the nonsensical discussion of race and names onto more critical issues. Kamla Prasad Bisesa wants Attorney General Amor removed for lying under oath. This is the Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The cabinet consists of the Prime Minister and the Attorney General. The Attorney General, this Attorney General is a senior counsel. All attorneys are governed and guided by the Bible, which is the code of ethics of the legal profession. But listen carefully to what Kamla Prasad Bisesa had to say on Monday, and then we will get into it. The Attorney Reginald Amor, you can't be run it.
The media house had never asked, not just one, asked the questions. Today we will never have known about the constitutional crisis that the AG has placed our country in. AG steps aside in Piarco case. He did not step aside. It's only when they catch him out and the court ruled to disqualify him. Miami court disqualifies Amor. Shame and disgrace. A scandal of the highest order, as we see. Mr. Amor, whilst in private practice, represented Mr. Quaitum on the same Piarco matters in Trinidad and Tobago. The defendant, Quaitum, in 2 sets of proceedings from 2002. Mr. Amor advocated, meaning talked. He made oral submissions. That means he went to court and he talked. And he also made written submissions on the matter on behalf of his then client, Brian Quaitum. He was appointed as the AG on the 16th March this year. After his appointment, Mr. Quaitum brought a motion to the Florida court to disqualify Mr. Amor from the matter and to disqualify the law firm. I hold no brief for anyone. The only brief I'm holding is a brief for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And the jurisprudence and rule of law is so clear. You cannot have represented me as your client, and then you turn around a few years later and you come here to prosecute me. And this is the Attorney General didn't know that. The judge agreed with the motion to disqualify Mr. Amor on the grounds that he was convicted. The judge disqualified Amor. Amor never moved himself from the case. Never moved himself from the case, and instead filed an affidavit in the court in Florida and lied on oath in the Florida court. Lied. It is a blatant lie when he told the court, the Florida court, on oath that he recused himself from the matter. So it's a blatant lie. They went, he and the lawyers in the U.S. court, fighting tooth and nail to stay in the matter. They objected to the application brought by Quaitum. And here we are. He said he recused himself. Lie. So tonight I raise these matters in the public interest to expose the conflicted AG. This now leaves TNT in a constitutional crisis. You know why? The only office pursuant to our Constitution, Section 76 of the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And I always tell you, the Constitution is the supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago. Section 76 says all civil proceedings, and these are civil proceedings, all civil proceedings must be brought in the name of the Attorney General. So if you are disqualified, what is going to happen to this matter? Who is going to prosecute on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago? His first day on the job, first major matter, and he has really brought shame and scandal to his office. And now we come to, did Mr. Amor lie on oath? The word is perjury. You all know that word? Perjury means you lie. Outright, another kind of lie. Lied. He said he's not conflicted when he filed his affidavit in the matter because he was junior counsel in the matter. You hear lie? More lies. But first of all, whether you're a junior counsel or senior counsel or instructing attorney, you represent Kwaitung and you have had instructions that were privileged and confidential. As a junior senior counsel, he said his only job in that case was what? Taking notes. Telling a Miami court this. In Florida, telling a court, shameful, eh? First he said he was a junior. Then he said, well, I didn't do much, I was just taking notes. Note taker. And I just did a little bit of research. Listen, Mr. Amo, don't lie to the country and don't lie to any other court outside of Trinidad and Tobago. That is perjury. You lied on oath. You were senior counsel during the preliminary inquiry when you represented Kwaitung. You were senior counsel then. You were appointed senior counsel before you went into this case with Kwaitung. Why are you lying? You were a junior lawyer. Well, you might very well be a junior lawyer because if you're so dotish, you make all these mistakes. Have a Kwaitung. Submitted by whom? Reginald Armour, SC. Therefore, the parties and lawyers would sit together and they will discuss the matter. They would share confidential attorney-client information with each other because they have a common defense. Mr. Armour, sworn affidavit in the Florida court, he said that he never had any common defense meeting with the other defendants and their lawyers. Never. Mr. Steve Fergusson affidavit dated 26 April 22. He swore and he confirmed that Armour attended these common defense meetings. Lies. So what are the issues that now arise? What are the issues? What was the extent of your involvement?
So you all have heard the lies of Reginald Armour SC. But there's something that lawyers in Trinidad and Tobago operate under, and it's called the Code of Ethics. So let's go through this, and while I'm going through this, I hope that the Law Association and Sophia Choate is paying attention. I hope that they are. So let's go through the Code of Ethics, Archie. Put up the first page. No, that's the last one. That's the last. Go from the other end. Start from the other side of what Vishnu sent you. So go to the exact opposite end and start coming down in that order. Right? When you have it, it should be 1 and 2. We started at the beginning. That slide was the last one. So go from the opposite end in the folder. Right. So when Archie gets it, right. Well, that's 23 and 24. Go down to, no. Go down to 1. Find an image with 1 and 2. Right. And then your next one will go in order. We going in order. We like things in order. So Archie, go find it. Leave this one. Let's go this slow. That's a very good. Right. So this is the Legal Profession Act, 3rd schedule, Part A, Code of Ethics, General Guidelines in relation to the profession and himself. 1. An attorney at law shall observe the rules of this code, maintain his integrity and the honor and dignity of the legal profession, and encourage other attorneys at law to act similarly, both in the practice of his profession and in his private life. Shall refrain from conduct which is detrimental to the profession or which may tend to discredit it. Well, as Law Association, you tell me, what did Reginald Armour do by signing that affidavit fraught with falsehoods? Number 2, an attorney at law shall expose without fear or favor before the proper tribunals unprofessional or dishonest conduct by any other attorney at law, and shall not lightly refuse a retainer against another attorney at law who's alleged to have wronged his client, and so on. But the first part, well, Reggie Armour, you have to report yourself. And any other attorney who is aware and who has read the affidavit of Reginald Armour must report, is duty bound to report Reginald Armour to the Law Association. Number 2, go to the next slide, my brother Archie, where we will see 11, 12, and 13 of this Legal Profession Act Code of Ethics. 11, 12, and 13. Every attorney at law should bear in mind that the oath of office taken on his admission to practice is not a mere form, but is a solemn undertaking to be strictly observed on his part. 12. An attorney at law should also bear in mind that he can only maintain the high traditions of his profession by being a person of high integrity and dignity. And 13, an attorney at law owes a duty to the state to maintain its integrity, its constitution, and its laws, and to not aid, abet, counsel, or assist anyone to act in any way contrary to those laws. And Al-Rawi and all the attorneys, Camille, who was in the cabinet, Fitzgerald Hines, who worked alongside Keith Christopher Rowley when he thwarted the meritless and collapsed the Police Service Commission and misbehaved in public office. Your lawyers who guided him while he went through that process, y'all are in breach of that too and should be reported under the Code of Ethics to the Law Association. Sophia Choate, are you paying attention? Let's go to the next one, 23.1. An attorney at law shall, at the time of retainer, disclose to his client all the circumstances of his relations to the parties and his interest in or connection with the controversy, if any, which might influence the client in his selection of an attorney at law. And 23.2, an attorney at law shall scrupulously guard and never divulge his client's secrets and confidences. Reginald Armour, you were senior counsel for Brian Quaintong and Rene Pierre in 2004 at the preliminary inquiries and for years following. And now, knowing all their secrets and making arguments for them and being part of meetings, not as a junior counsel, because Reginald Armour, you became senior counsel, you got silk in 2003. And now you went against your previous clients. Sophia Choate, Law Association, what say you? Let's go down to 26.2. In all situations where a possible conflict of interest arises, an attorney at law shall, not may, shall resolve all conflicts by leaning against multiple representation. Let's go to the next one. Should be 44.1 of the Code of Ethics of the law profession, legal profession. Let's see if we get it, Archie. A slide with 44.1. That 40, oh well, 40, he put 41.1. All right, Vishnu. The conduct of an attorney at law towards his fellow attorney shall be characterized by courtesy, fairness, good faith, and he shall not permit ill feelings. Well, that's interesting. But I really wanted 44.1, but if you don't have 44.1, let's go to 51, 53. 51, 53, part B, 2 and 1. Right. 51. In undertaking, you see this document is a very serious document. And lawyers are not to take this as just a piece of paper. This is their solemn oath, and this is to take form of their existence. In undertaking to render assistance to a foreign colleague, an attorney at law shall remember that his responsibility is much greater both when giving advice and handling a case that it would be had he undertaken to assist a colleague in Trinidad and Tobago. So in other words, lawyers called to the bar in Trinidad and Tobago must treat, when they are handling cases in foreign jurisdictions, they must treat it with a higher order of integrity, trust, loyalty, truth, and honor. And yet it is in a foreign jurisdiction that Reginald Armour signed an affidavit that is patently false. 52. Nothing herein contained shall be construed as derogating from any existing rules of professional conduct and duties of an attorney at law, which are in keeping with the traditions of the legal profession, although not specifically mentioned therein. Well, I wanted 53, so let it go. Where in any particular matter explicit ethical guidance does not exist, an attorney at law shall determine his conduct by acting in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and efficiency of the legal system and the legal profession. So Reginald Armour, you represented two of the defendants as a senior counsel for years. Then you became Attorney General, and it never dawned on you that you should immediately alert everyone possible to the conflict that exists immediately and find a solution therein to the situation so that Trinidad and Tobago will not be in a constitutional crisis right now, and you would not be in breach of the code of ethics. Part B, 2.1. Let's go to 2. Go to the next slide, and we'll go to, you found 44.1, right. There is a duty on every attorney at law to report improper or unprofessional conduct by a colleague to the disciplinary committee. So every single attorney who read the affidavit signed by Reginald Armour, filled and replete with falsehoods, stating that he was a junior attorney when he was senior counsel, stating that he was not really in the case, only a note taker, but he was actively involved in producing written submissions and speaking and questioning at the preliminary inquiry. Any lawyer who understands or sees that or reads that, which is all a lawyer, is bound to report this improper or unprofessional conduct by a colleague to the disciplinary committee, save where the information related to the improper unprofessional conduct is received in a or they receive it in no professional confidence. The story break. I am reading this and I still cannot understand or fathom how a human being, far less for a senior counsel, could be so stupid, so callous, so irresponsible, so wicked, so malicious, so deceitful. All right. Wait, Archie, while this one is good, I really need it up from the part B of the code, 2.1, right? I put some stars by it. So I'll read this one now, but you look for that. Part B, section 2.1. So let me deal with 7 and 7B. Where an attorney at law commits any criminal offense, which in the opinion of the disciplinary committee is of a nature likely to bring the profession into disrepute, such commission of the offense shall constitute professional misconduct. Is perjury a criminal offense? I'm asking all of you attorneys there. I'm asking the Law Association. I'm asking Sophia Choate. Is perjury a criminal offense? 7B. Although he has not been prosecuted, the committee is satisfied of the facts constituting the criminal offense. You see, lawyers know what constitutes a criminal offense. So it does not matter whether you are actually under criminal charge or that you have been indicted nor convicted. Once the lawyers, the Law Association sees the elements of a crime committed, so if the Law Association sees that the affidavit was signed, the signature is true and real, and it is that of Reginald Armour, and the affidavit is proven to be false in one or many aspects, such as being a junior attorney as opposed to a senior counsel, not taking an active role but being very actively involved. If these are falsehoods that are seen, no criminal charge needs to be filed in the jurisdiction, but the Law Association must take action. Let us see if Archie and Vishnu found Part B 2-1. Well, you went to 15, all right, I'll go ahead, but when I have 4 stars by a thing, I need you all to find that. So let me go ahead, 15, because it have plenty thing. An attorney at law shall never disclose, unless lawfully ordered to do so by the court or required by statute, what has been communicated to him in his capacity as an attorney at law by his client's attorney at law, and his duty not to disclose extends to his partners, to junior attorneys at law assisting him, and to his employees, provided, however, that an attorney at law may reveal confidences or secrets necessary to establish or collect his fee or defend himself. So what is that saying? Kamla Prasad Bisesa alerted the country that Reginald Armour went and took active action in the case against his former clients, that he conducted meetings, he signed statements, he signed settlement deals in this case. And if that is true and proven, then he would have been in a position to reveal secrets of Kwaitong and Rene Pear from 2004 onwards into the case that is going on now. And he would be in breach of this section 15 also. Next one, Archie. If you're going forward, well, it's 27, 28, 29, and 30. But I really wanted to find Part B. Where you reach 51. All right. Is it that down at the bottom, Part B? But it's 2-1. That is 1 day, Vishnu. An attorney at law shall not practice as such unless he has been issued. Okay, I don't want that. Part B, only listen to me carefully, Vishnu. The one that comes after that on the top of the next page. Part B, or down below there where you cut it off. 2-1. Right, so Archie, go to 27, 28, and 29 now, and Vishnu will find that other one. We'll finish off with that one. An attorney at law shall not knowingly use perjured testimony or false evidence or participate in the creation of or use of... Lord have mercy. I never see a man breach a whole code so. The man here breach piece of code, you know. The man breach the whole code. The man like he opened the whole safe like them bandit to dig in Republic Bank and break in. The man breached the whole code. Let me try 28 now. An attorney at law shall not counsel or assist his client or a witness in conduct that the attorney at law knows to be illegal or fraudulent. And that for the client. What about the attorney senior counsel for himself? And where he is satisfied that his client has, in the course of the particular representation, perpetrated a fraud upon a person or tribunal, he shall promptly call upon him to rectify same. Reginald Armour, you must look yourself in the mirror. Call upon yourself to rectify same and report yourself to the Law Association. 29. An attorney at law shall not knowingly make a false statement of... Oh, Lord! 29. Let me read 29 again. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, let's read 29 of the Code of Ethics of Attorneys at Law of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. An attorney at law shall not knowingly make a false statement of law or fact. Sophia Choate, Law Association. My goodness. All you get it just now. Let me read 32. An attorney at law shall not knowingly represent falsely to a judge, a court, or other tribunal, or to an official of a court or other tribunal that a particular state of facts exists. Reginald Armour. I have never seen one man breach a code so wholly, totally. 35-1 now, 35-2, and then we will finish with the one that I had 4 stars on. Bring up, I saw the 35-1, you had start off with that. No, go wait, that, I want the 35 first. Go back, Archie, the one that you had start off with when we started this segment. 35-1 and 35-2, I want this one after. Or you want me to deal with this one? Let me deal with this one, let me ease you up. All right, this is part B. Okay, part B, 2-1. In my notes, I have 4 stars. Let me read it and see why I put 4 stars there when I read it. An attorney at law shall never knowingly mislead the court. PNM, all you want to dance? PNM. Everybody just do the PNM. Reginald Armour, Keith Christopher Rowley, PNM government, the Attorney General, who forms the cabinet along with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister is talking about Kunta Kinte, talk about 2-1, Part B, Code of Ethics. An attorney at law shall never knowingly mislead the court. Not may, no discretion, shall never. And once you knowingly mislead, that's it. You're out. Sophia Choate, Law Association, over to you. 35-1 and 35-2. Let's see what I had there in this Code of Ethics. But the man breached 1 and 2, 11, 12, 13, 23, 23, 1, 23, 2, 26, 2, 44, 1, 51, 53, Part B, 2, 1, 7, 7B, 15, 27, 28, 29, 32, and now 35-1 and 35-2. Actually, you can't find it back. You had it up first one. Right, man. I know you're going to find that, Archie. Breach by an attorney at law of any of the rules contained in this part shall constitute professional misconduct, and an attorney at law who commits such a breach shall be liable to any of the penalties which the disciplinary committee and or the court is empowered to impose. Law Association, we await what you have to say about Reginald Armour, Attorney General of the PNM government. Sophia Choate, put back 35-2. You frightened me there, boy. Breach by an attorney at law of any of the provisions of Part A of this code, while not automatically amounting to punishable professional misconduct, is a derogation from the high standards and conduct expected from an attorney at law, and may, depending on the circumstances of the particular case, amount to such a misconduct or form a material ingredient thereof. Well, Sophia Choate, put she back up now, and the Law Association, what happened when a man breached the whole code? The whole code. The man ain't leave nothing. The man ain't leave nothing for nobody else to breach. Well, I really want to see what the Law Association is going to say, because Sophia Choate, you wait for about 3,000 other people to dead before you agree with Kamala that we need a commission of inquiry into Dialsing and Rowley's handling of COVID-19. And even then, you couldn't say Rowley, you say the health sector. Archie, what is that, man? The Law Association said something? No, they didn't? Well, Law Association, we waiting for you, Sophia Choate. And wasn't Reginald Armour a former president of the Law Association? All you have no shame. Larry Lala, put up Larry Lala. Look, my boy, let me read what Larry Lala say. Put up the image there, Archie. Larry Lala make a lot of sense. Put it up. You have it? Find it there fast, boy. You pop Larry face, you must have the image. I put him up there for all you to read it out, because he dealt with this matter in a tweet or on Facebook or something, a statement. But to Sophia Choate, while Archie finds that image put up by Larry Lala, Sophia Choate and the Law Association, I really do not understand how since Monday night, and you all would have had this because it came out in the Express on Sunday, and some of your attorneys would have been well aware of it before it came out in the national newspaper. What are you all doing? What is your opinion? The country is blowing in the wind. We have a man sitting as Attorney General who has breached the entire code that you dictate that lawyers must operate under. And they must not just read it and hold it, they must live it, believe it, act on it, and deal with every clause and every part. Well, if all you don't have it, I will move on. Put it up. If you have it, put it up, download it. Let me hear what Larry Lala said. Because I thought it was a very strong statement. Larry Lala. One of the first things we are taught as lawyers, and Larry Lala is a learned attorney, is that we are officers of the court and that it is wrong, improper, frowned upon, and even punishable to mislead a court. From the silence, apparently many in the Trinidad and Tobago legal profession did not go to school that day and missed the lesson. But if it was Anna and Ramlogan, they may have looked at it differently. The double standard is what has us in this mess we're in. I totally 100% agree. And I have heard Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I have not heard any other leader of any other party. I have not heard any other wannabes. Vasant. I have not heard Fuad, my brother. Fuad's so plentiful. I have not heard Boindradat Tiwari, who attacked Kamla when she said that the Coast Guard must be brought to book and justice must be upheld for Yaelvis Sarabia, the little baby whose head was blown off by Coast Guard officers. But where are they? They all want to lead, but they go and hide and have double standards when a PNM Attorney General has breached the entire code. I just went through it for all you. And all of you are silent. Shame on y'all. But I know why Vasan Bharat silent. Bharat and Sajavan on special advisory committee to avert food crisis. Well, that's good. Vasan, a good position for you. You should really go up there and campaign hard as president of the Agricultural Society. I think that's a power. That's about as high as you could reach. I wish you the best there. You go on for that post, right? Because I will be monitoring, because you went on the roadmap to recovery for the PNM and nothing is recovered. People are scrambling for job on a boat under your roadmap to recovery, Vasant. So on this, with the food crisis looming, I'm monitoring very carefully to see your hard work, your productivity, and your presentation of plans to ease the pain of the citizens in the pending food shortage. I'm watching your brilliance, because you want to be a prime minister, eh? Well, maybe from Agricultural Society you could leapfrog. All right, Vasant? Fuad, ex-MPs say Fuad can win election if it is fair. Former Barataria Sanwa MP Fuad can defeat incumbent UNC political leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa in the party's internal election on June 26, once those elections are free and fair. These were the views expressed on Monday by former St. Augustine MP Vasan Bharat and Ramona Ramdial and somebody called Shane. Who is Shane Mohammed? If the election is fair, so wait. Fuad Khan, for the last 2 years, 3 years, has only been doing Facebook posts criticizing the UNC, attacking Kamla. He hasn't been on the ground. He hasn't been working with councillors who are being thwarted by the PNM, not given hampers under COVID-19. He hasn't talked and touched the ground, touched a hand. He hasn't worked with anyone. He hasn't gotten a device or a laptop for any constituency. He has not been down to Labray to help Victor Roberts. He isn't in Couva, in Carpachima. He's not in Freeport. He's not in Dago Martin with Lida. He there Rastafari, looking to line with Fitzgerald Hines. Yeah, looking good. But so Fuad Khan, when he gets a curtail because it's deserving, and he didn't campaign, he didn't create any manifesto, he hasn't put up any ideas, he does not have contact with the councillors of the UNC, the national executive, the constituency executives, the party groups in each and every constituency. He has not been in Tabakit in 4 years. He has not been down to Rodney Charles in Naparima or to assist Michelle Benjamin in Maruga Tableland or Dr. Rai Ragbir up in Kamuta Manzanilla. He not helping. What you all talking about? How do you win an election? Kamla Prasad Bisasa on the ground, that woman working 20 hours a day to support and help she UNC MPs with no resources, no decision making, nothing, and fighting for the party. And when people respect Kamla and vote for she and blow out whoever, you all trying to say it's not going to be fair? Okay, here what to do for me. Archie, about how much on YouTube it's about 1.2 thousand people watching this, right? And on Facebook about 800. So overall about 2,000 people watching this live, and then when Vishnu cut it up, each piece will go about 10,000 views, right? Right. If you, Ramona, Vasant, Fuad, and what is the fella name? Mohammed, what Mohammed? Dave Mohammed, the bowler. The bowler, the boy who could have spin real good and then take his shoe, Dave Mohammed. Shane Mohammed, who is Shane Mohammed? Anyway, if you all have a lot, okay, do me a favor. Put on a little live, talk your issues and thing. And if all you get more than 350 people watching the live, I go then bring all you on douglAR Politics and interview all you as potential candidates. All right? Organize that for me. Other than that, understand this. Kamla Prasad Bisesa earned her right to be leader of the opposition and leader of the UNC. She beat the greatest politician in the history of Trinidad and Tobago before her, Bastille Pandey. She stands here working day in, day out with people, fighting, creating policy, putting on, making speeches, making policy, creating, preparing for government. And all you just want to come and lead because all you find, all your mother find, all you look like a leader. Well, all you go with Faris and them because Faris, mother say that Faris failed as AG because the UNC under Kamla too strong and they didn't support him. But let me tell all you this. Archie showed them across Trinidad and Tobago, all over, is support in the United National Congress for Kamla Prasad Bisesa. So come on and let's unite and move under one leader, one party, UNC, and strong. Run it, Archie.
Kamla Prasad Bisesa is a performer. Whatever ministry she held, whatever position from local government to prime minister, and now as leader of the opposition and the next leader of the UNC as of June 26 once again. Because all challengers are welcome. All the shushu masters, all the Basant and the Bo, all you want to talk in quiet Facebook posts and little quiet Zoom meetings. Look, election here. Election is here.
Election is here. The ladies say come and challenge rather than fight and build your resources and come and try and get vote. All you start to cry already. Look, all you give me a good night, yes?